as he says, "Ooh, shoot." My cue was a little early. Hey, what time is it? 9:05, 9:10. I'm casually late.
Yeah.
Why do we need to work on that someday? One of these days. Hi, it's Coffee with Curmudgeons. If you're one of the bots that are listening on the audio stream right now.
Good morning, bots.
Good morning, bots. And good morning, too. I don't have a funny again today. I could call him my co-host, Harvey, but that wouldn't be funny. No, it's Jason Allen.
Hi.
Whoa, God.
I'm right in your face. Good morning. Would you like some coffee? How about a scone?
How about some peanuts and some beer?
Right. Holy cow. Hey, I got my Proud to be a Duck t-shirt on.
Dude, those colors. Yeah, here's folks. Here's what we're really looking at right there.
Right. Hi there, everybody.
God, you know this camera's not angled right. We could call this the Adam West Batman.
Ooh. We could be climbing up the walls with the rope, and have celebrities, go out, come out the window and say, "Wow, it's the Curmudgeons."
Oh, hey, guy, you know what? Go up to YouTube.
Yeah.
And Google search on that, and they've got a whole, I think I sent it to you
once.
A
whole list of
like a 10 or 12 minute long of all the celeb climbing up the wall things.
Right.
My favorite's Sammy Davis Jr., of course.
It's Sam, Mr. Bojangles himself.
I mean, he's like, yeah, me and Frank are practicing back here. I gotta go, It's like Rat Pack. Thank you, Mr. Sammy Davis Jr. Come on, Bat Boy. Right. We've got to go fight some criminals.
That's right.
It's not about Adam West.
Scaling up the wall with the rope, the bat rope, of course.
Is Jack Webb one? I mean, one of it. No, the Adam 12 guys.
That would be great.
I think at least somebody from the old thing. It's like Sergeant Joe Friday. Funny meeting another crime stopper here.
See, he would come out with something totally. Like, out pops the window, here he comes up, he's raised what you doing, youngsters?
Yeah.
Look at that. It's a Lady Liberty on a Friday. On a Friday.
Yeah, well, this show promises, I don't know. Hang in there.
This show promises, I don't know.
It's a Friday.
It is.
B, we had a top-notch, 100% grade A, number one USDA choice show on Monday.
You did.
I would say
we did.
That was a fantastic.
We did. We had a guest
in studio.
Yeah.
In studio guest Shauna
Schaffer. Yeah.
And she was wonderful, and that was a fun show.
She read your aura.
She read my.
I wanted to ask you, but I didn't. I got home and I said to myself, I forgot to ask him the all-important question. The all-important question was, when she was reading your aura, did you feel violated?
Yeah.
Just a skosh.
I mean, I didn't. Yeah. By the way, not that you care, but if you want to join in the fun, we never promote this. But look, we have a
call us now
phone number. Did you know that? Like it actually works right here. In fact, I'll turn it on just in case you call. Call me. Maybe.
Ladies and gentlemen, 503-395-5040.
Yeah, don't be shy. If you just want to call in, yell.
Yeah.
Oh no, that was last week. Don't call in and yell.
Call in and yell on Wednesdays. You can just scream abuse.
395-5040.
5040. We need to get like a little jingle lady to do that.
Yeah.
503-395-5040. That's right.
Just don't yell at Jason. Just don't call him. I already got yelled at this week on the phone.
Did you? That's not cool.
Yeah, well, we won't go into that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, but Shanna was great, wasn't she?
She was awesome.
Talking, and so I said, how in the heck am I going to follow up Shanna, right? What am I going to do?
It was great.
So I reached into the bag of magic tricks, and I found, an author,
a candlestick maker,
a baker, an earthquaker.
What is that?
Yeah.
Tinker, spy, soldier.
Tinker, spy, soldier.
Something.
Yeah, but no, local author, Ed DeVito.
Oh, really?
He's going to be calling, and of course,
what's he write?
He is the author of a series of books, The Woodstock Paradox and The Woodstock Paradigm. Busily
novels?
Novels, and he's busily engaged knocking out the third as we speak.
All right.
And the one thing I love about Ed is, I mean, he was there at all the crux moments in late 20th century history. This guy was, man. And think about it. He was down Haight-Ashbury, San Francisco in the 60s. I mean, we don't know. Was he at Woodstock? We don't know. We'll find out Monday.
All right.
And he's an all-around good egg.
I like it. I like it.
Ed.
Kind of Ken Kesey merrymaker kind of a thing. That's kind of our...
Most definitely.
I feel like I'm not sitting up. Everyone's slouching on this show. You know, now that we've done the show for a few months...
a few moons.
Everyone's slouching.
Well, it's Friday. It's a slouch day. And Monday we're all ready to go. And then by Friday I'm like this, one elbow on the desk, and I'm just come shuffling and
Batman cam.
Right.
Meanwhile, look at how I gotta adjust that. I mean, it's just an extra camera that we're trying to throw in, and of course, so you can see Jason's Friday legs.
My legs. I didn't shave for this.
Dude, it's been all summer. Look at how white those legs are.
I know.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm just...
Meanwhile, in the Batcave, Batman and Albert are wearing shorts.
That's right. See, that's why my gig as a break-in cat burglar went awry, because I would go on these jobs, these capers, if you will. And I'd be wearing shorts, and my legs would be glowing in the dark, and I'm kidding. But
speaking of cat burglary and capering.
Yes.
So we've had there's actually lots of news.
Okay.
As you know.
Yeah.
And once, maybe Trump isn't exactly front and center of the news.
No, it's got to get under his skin.
Yeah.
He's getting beat out of the news.
Who is this Harvey guy?
I don't care. I am not going second place to Irma.
Yeah, exactly. Irma has no energy. She's a Cat 5 storm.
Wouldn't that be great if he gave the storm there was low energy Jeb and little Marco. Oh, that would be great if he got angry and just gave the storm a nickname.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I was watching late. I was working, finally getting caught up on just some paperwork that I really had to do. And I know. So I was up late, actually. Yeah. But I got everything ready. Because I like coming in here and drinking my coffee.
The cup of joe.
Yeah. Where? This
it's all right. Yeah. It's a stage prop.
No. My new mug.
That's right.
But anyway, so I was up, and then I was like, well, I want to check in with the news because there's a lot of news, a lot of Mother Nature happening. Really, the news, I would say the top news today or this week has been Mother Nature. Mm-hmm. We had the DACA thing, which you talked about on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Mother Nature. Mm-hmm. And maybe Mother Democrat Party or something. I don't know.
Right.
But mainly it's Mother Nature. So we have had the Houston thing. That was Harvey, right?
Harvey. Mm-hmm.
Now we got Irma. And so I was watching that last night. CNN, they were still live. Yeah. So that thing hit the Bahamas, and it's in Cuba right now, I think. Yeah. I was going to check in on that.
Yeah, it went through a whole chain of islands.
It was Category 5.
Category 5 plus.
Oh, man.
They don't have a Category 6, but it made them ponder that maybe they should.
Yeah.
Institute 185.
There is no Category 6.
Nope.
Yeah, and then this is Hurricane. According to the New York Times headline right now is Hurricane Irma live updates in quotes way bigger than Andrew. Florida governor warns.
Yeah, they said that it had the pack of the punch that Andrew has, except literally Irma is twice the size of Andrew. And the way the U.S. model and the Euro model is shaping up, it's going to literally kind of bounce off the tip of Cuba, head straight north, literally right in the middle of the state.
Yeah. It's so the trajectory. I don't know if I can pull it up here.
Yeah, not pretty, man.
First of all, if you look at the satellite, the thing's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like sort of like covers the Bermuda, Bahamas. It's going to hit kind of a tip of Cuba, and then it's going to run straight into, as it sort of moves north, straight into Florida, Miami, and all that. That's
Right.
trajectory. Now it loses. They all lose a little power as they go up, but this one's it'll lose a little. But they were saying Category 4, maybe they were speculating when it hits Florida, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a hurricane expert, but it looks bad. So we have that. So we had the Houston, which they're still cleaning. I mean, the flooding and all of that. That's same thing, kind of like New Orleans. We got Irma coming up, and I was curious about, well, is this thing gonna hit and landfall in the U.S. Florida? They said it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's hitting tomorrow.
Yeah.
Maybe early in the morning or something like that. I want to say.
Yeah, they originally thought it was going to hit like
Welcome
mid-morning.
to your weather service.
That's right. I'm Chip.
Yeah.
No, they thought it was going to hit mid-morning. Then they upped it to like 4 or 5 in the morning. Because it picked up a little steam.
So it'll be our overnight.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah.
Then at the same time last night, as I'm watching this and typing in my Microsoft Word and my Excel, one of my favorite things to do.
Spreadsheets.
So as soon as I was doing that, then breaking news, earthquake, Mexico, 8.2. Now, what the deal is the earthquake was off the coast of Mexico.
Yeah, Mexico, I think near the border of Guatemala?
Yes, Guatemala. So we're kind of Guatemala and Mexico, like the southernmost tip of Mexico.
Yeah.
But 8.2. And it's right there where the plates, continental plates in the ocean go underneath it. So obviously.
Mother Nature is angry today.
Well, here's the deal. Hurricanes, earthquakes, and we haven't even talked about the fire yet.
Yeah.
And also something else that people may or may not know, solar bursts, solar flare.
Yeah.
That's always interesting because there is, and I don't know how wacky this is, and I bring it up because I don't think it's necessarily wacky. I've read a few things about this. I think it's inconclusive, but it's something that there are a few people of the science persuasion that are looking into this.
Yeah.
Tracking the massive sunspot activity and these coronas and flares that basically they shoot a flare out Earthway. It depends on if it hits Earth or not. Usually the impact is communication. This one affected communication.
Yeah.
Like satellites and things like that. GPS goes down for a while. It can affect, if it's bad enough, it can affect other radio communications and your devices. Things go a little wacky. But they've talked about this kind of activity, sunspot activity, and this activity with the sun.
Yeah.
And the weather, hurricanes, but also earthquakes.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if that's something
I don't
there.
I don't know. That is very interesting. I saw this thermal image last night that kind of took my breath away a little bit because I'd never seen something like it before. They'd taken this thermal image and literally the whole Atlantic was filled with like 3 hurricanes. You know, one. And
Yes.
I saw that and I was like, holy crud, Batman. And,
I'm trying to find a better map here of what this thing looks like.
Yeah. And just the way...
this is fun, folks.
Yeah, happy Friday, everybody.
Yeah, this one you can't really see very well. Sorry.
But you know it's getting bad. I mean, truly horrific, of almost biblical proportions. When literally the evacuation order is just 2 words, get out.
Right.
Go west, young man, because South
really
Florida.
See that, but that's a monster. That's from space, and that's a time lapse from space. There.
You know what that reminds me of? The big storm that's on was it Jupiter?
Yes, the great spot. Well, there's several storms.
The red storm or whatever they call it.
The big one, yeah.
The big one. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the difference there in scale, Jason, is that red spot storm is like several Earth-size large in the entire Earth.
I I just said it looks like it, you know.
There's Stephanie talked about it with just probes. There's been probes around Jupiter and Saturn taking pictures and imaging all this stuff. And, it's just a storm swirl of chemicals. Same as Saturn. There's some wild stuff on Saturn. There's like a hexagon at the pole of Saturn. Like almost a perfect hexagon. Like, why would you have a round thing in that hexagon? They say it has something to do with the magnetics and the poles. Well, aliens. I didn't say that.
No, I didn't.
I said a phenomenon. Phenomenon. Phenomena. Yeah, no. Aliens.
Yeah.
We need the GIF. Aliens.
Aliens.
It's aliens. So there's that. And then there's Mexico. And again, like I said, it hit off the coast where the plates are, but it's such a big earthquake that it shook the inland.
Yeah.
They said there are 32 people.
Yeah, they said that it actually started setting off. It was such a big hurricane, it started setting off the seismic meters a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And that's like,
that's the hurricane.
Yeah,
right?
that's
in addition to the
the fire.
Earthquake.
And the fires. Let's talk about the gorge fires, man.
Yes. Well, I was just going to say, too, I was curious because I noticed it was close to Guatemala. I may have a on-the-ground quote.
Ooh.
Find out what's going on in Guatemala. Maybe by Monday we'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'm going to ask someone who's from around there who probably would know the news. So that's, we hear about Mexico, but we have no clue if Guatemala has been affected by that.
Yeah.
Like if you see it on the map, you're like, hey, that's pretty much together there.
Yeah, I do know that since it was in the night that it happened, they were talking to people down in Mexico, and they said that they were almost scared for daylight to go in there and start photographing to see what they're going to find. And
that would be
8.2. Oh my gosh.
That would be now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't know. Happy Friday, everybody.
I know it's kind of a depressing way to start.
We come in. We start as we start as Tigger and we end as Eeyore. Mm-hmm. Have a good Friday, everybody.
Yeah, and so the big local news here is the tragic Eagle Creek fire.
Yeah.
And we're talking tragic. And I've been looking for updates on that one. And I watched one of the news reports, but I think it's kind of been like, what's going on? People are firefighting it. That's been the answer all week.
Right. Yeah.
There's a fire. People are, and it's like, well, is it spreading? Yeah, or we're containing it. We saved the lodge. That was a big thing. The Multnomah Falls Lodge. A whole bunch of firefighters went up there, did a whole bunch of stuff so that the lodge wouldn't burn down.
Right.
Up by Multnomah Falls. People, this is your Eeyore. This is your depressing thing. People in here are very sad and depressed, and rightly so.
Mm-hmm.
I came upon and retweeted Cheryl Strayed.
Yes.
The author of Wild.
Yeah.
She wrote a post on Facebook that was very, very poignant. Mm-hmm. And she's a writer. Guess what? She's a writer. She can write, But it was very,
She articulated what we were feeling.
Yeah. It was hard to. I'm trying to find it here, of course, because how can I find anything in the morning? This isn't like you do need an intern, right?
Right.
I mean, even with this computer, and I can click what I'm looking for. Here it is, right here. Yeah, I sent it out as I should have NuzBox this. This is a must read from Cheryl Strayed, author of Wild. She wrote Wild, which is a kind of a autobiographical. I want to say kind of novel, but maybe I don't know if she's like autobiographical novel or I should know that.
Yeah.
We actually went downtown and filmed an interview with her at one point.
Nice.
Yeah, for the New York Times of all people.
Nice.
So I should know that. Yeah, because they were showing the stuff and they were interviewing her about Wild and.
Did you walk up with the fedora with the little press ticket on and say, "Doc Normal, the Times"?
It was an event.
Ooh.
in a place with like 500 people in there.
Oh. I thought maybe you went in like old school pinstripe suit, like cigar.
It was in an auditorium, 500 people.
Dimes.
It's like, can you bring cameras in here and film this? And then send the footage to the New York Times so that they can edit it and put it on whatever. It wasn't it was it was a New York Times thing.
Was it like the magazine or something?
It or something. Yeah, something like that. It was something like that. I don't know. They just call me, and I go, okay. I'll put. I mean, let's do this here. Of course, it's not going to come up on my computer, but I'll just play the Jeopardy theme, and that would be Doc Normal using a computer.
No, my wife is really in. I mean, she could be a meteorologist. All right, I think she should have. She still should. She should go back and become a meteorologist. As I guess as of this morning, it's still only like 7% contained.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. It's been difficult to find out because I did watch a news report that was like the 11 o'clock news or the 5 o'clock news or whatever.
Yeah.
To catch up, I'm like doing it's like I gotta do something. What's going on in the news, right? Because you're so bored, Oh, Microsoft Word. I'm doing my best Vivian from the Young Ones. Bored. Cricket bat.
Right.
Smashing around the kitchen. So I watched a news, and it's kind of hard to sift through what's going on because first of all, I-84 is closed a lot, so it's pretty much closed. But I did watch some reporters actually got to go in a caravan thing to go to I-84, which was closed with the ODOT people, and it's pretty bad out there. Basically, here's the problem with I-84. After the forest fire, even though there's no fire there, and hey, they have to clean up the debris. That's number one, and it's a major highway. It's Interstate 84. We're talking 60 miles an hour trucks. I mean, it's a major commerce. It's our east-west hub, really.
Right. Well, if the fire is close enough where it shuts, the road down. Not only do you get cleanup, but I mean you got to have what effects happen to the road under such extreme heat.
Right. Well, that's what they were showing. The guy from ODOT, which is spokesperson. Yeah, he was an old news guy too. You know how they have the spokespeople for companies and stuff, and it's like, oh, that guy. They used
broke
to be
out the grizzled veteran.
Yeah, they always get those jobs.
Yeah.
Because the news business is tough, and they lay you off and whatever, and then you get a
I'm
PR
here
job.
in the gorge.
Yeah. So anyway, they had the guy. And the deal is the rocks fall on the highway.
Yeah.
And it's either because of the heat that they end up on the highway, or just the stuff gets broken up because it's been on fire.
Sure.
But boulders and rocks on the highway. And the guy's like holding a lava type rock, and he goes, "See, this is laying on the highway." And he's like, it may look small, but it's 60 miles an hour going down the freeway. You don't want to run over this. So they have to make sure like the rocks and the stuff isn't falling on the freeway. And they have rock slides on I-84. I mean, they maintain it. That's one of the things the transportation does. But on a lot of Oregon highways, but slides are a real deal. I mean, when you drive through there, it's beautiful. When you get toward the Dalles, you just have these rock cliffs, as you're getting out of Hood River.
But they're also pretty proactive about that stuff too.
Yeah, it's just a lot of work.
Yeah,
and so the outcome of that, what I gathered from that, was don't hold your breath in the next couple days to open up I-84, and that's a huge deal.
Right.
So they have to divert because if you
SR-22, I believe they bounce people up. To
is
SR-22.
That like through Pendleton or somewhere, or the Dalles, or up Washington?
Washington, yeah.
You could go Washington and then come over. I think that's what they have to do. But it's ton. If you drive that, it's actually a little treacherous. They've expanded it. They've made it a lot better, especially out there between Hood River and the Dalles now. Right. There's actually a big whole new, real freeway, but it's treacherous. But there's tons of semis on that thing. Mm-hmm. They go like straight through the Idaho, and
it's a major east-west route. Yeah,
it's crazy. It's crazy.
As the kids say, it's cray-cray.
Yeah. A couple of years ago, we drove that one all the way to Idaho.
Yeah.
for an event, and that was an eye-opening experience.
Yeah.
Especially when you go through Hanford nuclear chemical waste site dump of the nation, and you're like,
Yeah. Or you're cruising through like the Umatilla, the base out there, where they store a lot of the biological stuff. You see like these bunker type.
That's Hanford, man.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah. This is kind of long. I don't know. It was actually, she posted this on her Instagram. She is Cheryl Strayed at Instagram and also on Facebook. And also on Twitter at Cheryl Strayed, but she's got a nice picture of Multnomah Falls there. And I don't know if I would write the whole thing, but I've watched with horror and heartbreak as the beautiful wilderness of the Columbia River Gorge has burned over these past several days. It's still burning, it's still expanding, still raging into more beauty and life. That was one day ago, and it goes on. And she mentions here, the fire has decimated, among many other things, the trail and forest along Eagle Creek that I wrote about in the final chapter of Wild. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
And Wild was, they made a movie of that book.
Reese Witherspoon.
Reese, I still haven't seen it.
Yeah, she didn't get some Oscar action, right?
A couple of years ago.
Yeah.
They made a movie of that one. Which usually means the book doesn't suck. Usually it's like, oh, good book.
Yeah.
Let's make a movie of that. Hey, let's sign a contract. Unless it's 50 Shades of Grey, then you're like, what's that all about?
What's that about?
But anyway, it's a post that I think everyone who relates Oregonians, they know this place.
Yeah.
It's relatable. This is not a happy-go-lucky message. This is just saying, check it out, read it, check it on her Twitter or her
very well written, yeah,
Instagram or her Facebook. I actually put it out there on my Facebook, retweeted it and all that. Maybe we'll put that on the NuzBox too.
Sure.
But yeah, a lot of people I know who live or grew up out there as well are very sad. I've been getting messages and things like that, and I'm just like, what can you say?
Yeah.
I can't. There's nothing I can say.
Yeah.
And I Eagle Creek, we've talked about the Boy Scouts of America, Tenderloin Scouts.
Be prepared, yes.
Falconers. I just say that for fun. Bear Scouts.
Bear Scouts.
Oh, no, that's something else that goes on downtown in Old Town. Bear Scouts Night at CC Slaughters. No.
Who's the den mother of that one?
Oh, God. Anyway, why did I go there? Why do I do that?
It's Friday,
stuff?
Dude.
Levity. Now I'm like you.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
Trying to make a joke and then it turns into something bad. And then
Levity,
I have to be scolded. But if I scold you, who scolds the scolder?
Ooh, there is a deep philosophical question. Who
Watching
scolds
the detectives?
The scolder.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, Eagle Creek was a very popular destination for the scouts, for our scouting organization. Hiked that trail many, many times in the falls. I think that's the one where you go through and you walk under the falls and all that, Yeah. And Multnomah Falls is a big attraction for everyone. It's just off the highway, so
right.
It will grow back, and I know that people are kind of don't want to hear that right now, and that's okay. They want to mourn, but it is really, people all over the country are like, this is a loss of one of the most beautiful places in the nation, if not the world, and it's not exaggerating.
Yeah, there's
the gorge is amazing.
Yeah, and there's a couple surreal moments out of all this. I remember at the worst of it when the air is all smoky, Oh,
it was horrible.
I decided
in Portland, we got. Yeah. The other thing to say is when this thing broke out earlier in the week. Now, I think it was Tuesday. Really, we did the show. Was it kind of? Well, it was weird on Monday.
Yeah.
But by Tuesday, Monday, I don't know. I don't remember. But Portland was super smoky. Like they looked like there was you looked at the horizon, it looked like there were campfires all around.
yeah.
And we got hit by the ash, literally ash, from the fire.
That's what I was coming out of the gym, and I walk out to the, heading to the car, and you look up at, like, it's pitch dark, and you look up at the parking lights and whatever, and you can see it, almost like it's snowing. Little bits, and you're right, it smelled like one giant campfire.
Yeah.
And it was very surreal. You walk out, it's all smoky and everything, and I mean, man, this is miles away. Can you imagine what it is closer on in? I don't know, man, but
yeah, it was just absolutely horrible. And the ash reminded me, I haven't seen anything like that in Portland since Mount St. Helens.
Yes.
Now,
yeah.
to be clear, Mount St. Helens, it was called volcanic ash. It is not ash. It is pumice, which is very, very bad. So people were wearing the masks and stuff, just like Mount St. Helens.
Yeah.
People were trying to protect themselves from the smoke, to varying degrees of success, I guess. But because of the smokiness and the ash that was actually ash from the fire, from the burning. Imagine that. Like, there's a forest fire, like, 30, 50 miles outside of Portland.
Yeah.
And the winds are blowing the actual ash from the burned forest into the city of Portland, along with the smoke. That's kind of crazy. But the same thing happened with Mount St. Helens. But Mount St. Helens would eject a plume of fine grain pumice in the air. And during that time of Mount St. Helens, especially before the major eruption, Portland would get dusted from that sometimes, depending on how the winds went. And that stuff is real dangerous because that's like asbestos. I mean, that stuff gets stuck in your lungs.
Right.
So people were walking around with face masks and whatnot. It's like, don't breathe that in.
Yeah.
Because
I remember that.
May
18th, 1980 was the big.
Yeah, you dust it off on the car. People saved it to this day. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that was my big Boy Scout time, and I was in the Rose Festival parade that year because I was
you were an Eagle Scout.
Yeah. So I was in the Rose Parade. So everyone got masks because of that. Yeah, it was weird. Weird times. And now, 80s. That's how 1980 was a weird. I think we had some bad ice storms that year too.
We did, yes.
Like super bad. We're talking like shutting down, kind of like what we had this winter. Like,
it was real early 80, wasn't it? Like in January.
Yeah, and
it was the ice storm. Yeah,
and it was like thick inches of ice on the trees. Then the trees would topple down, take out all the power and the telephone lines and whatnot. People couldn't go to work. There's inches of ice on the. So we're back to the 1980s. We're back. Listen to me. Hi, welcome to your apocalypse.
Past is prologue.
Yeah.
Welcome to the.
Sorry, this is. It's so much. We're trying to have some fun, but no, we're not having fun. It's doom and gloom.
No.
So Eagle Creek, sun activity. Your data has been breached once again, folks.
Equifax, yeah.
Equifax, one of the credit reporting.
140 million or something.
140 million accounts breached. That's your Social Security and all that. Thanks, Equifax.
Thank Equifax.
And here's the thing. Back in the day, this is part of what your government would do. They'd go, hey, we have regulations and things, and hey, banks and all these institutions, you better put,
Yeah.
It's hard now in 2017 to excuse mass data breaches. It really is. I mean, there is, you can say, well, here's how things and here's vulnerabilities and stuff, but it's like, these are multi-million dollar, billion-dollar companies, banks, all this stuff. Folks, you take the money, you spend it on the IT security folks, and they're out there. I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of times, the budget for that sort of stuff has been stripped down
They don't care.
ineffectualness.
They don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Yeah. There is one piece of happy news.
Oh, really?
There is. You got to take it where you can find it. But it's the kickoff of NFL started last night.
Really?
The very first game.
Thursday
night was the season kickoff.
I think I asked last.
Yeah.
Jay-Z's not here.
Yep.
But I think I asked last week if the NFL was starting.
Yep. Started last night. First game.
Played?
New England Patriots against the Kansas City Chiefs. It was a pretty good game. In the first, second quarter, New England started running away with it a little bit, and but the Chiefs they came back. It was a good start to hopefully a good season, and so football is here, folks.
No, the Patriots we don't like them.
Well,
Right.
I have mixed feelings about the Patriots.
Isn't that Belichick and
Darth Belichick? Yeah, he's stalking the sidelines,
right.
and it's weird that whenever you see on the TV, they always bring in the Empire Strike Back music. Bump, bump.
Oh, do they really?
No, I'm just kidding.
They should.
Darth Belichick. But yeah, I mean, I'm very mixed feelings about the Patriots. I'm not a Patriots fan, but I gotta appreciate the
now,
play.
Don't they win by deflating balls and things like that?
They do. They won. Of course, they won the Super Bowl last year.
You can tell. And, I'm not really an NFL guy, but
it's newsworthy.
But you can tell that I already have an opinion about the New England Patriots.
Right. Yeah.
Formed by the mass media. It was like, oh, the Patriots. Oh, screw the Patriots. Well, I mean, I don't know how they got away with deflating balls.
Yeah.
How do you do that, right?
Right. Well, yeah.
That's like the other team, like, here, quick, give me the basketball.
Yep.
Okay, bring it in. Here comes LeBron. Hey, what's going on, man? What's wrong with this baseball? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Basketball. That was nice.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? How do you play a sport like that?
Well, yeah, and the whole hypocritical stance that
I mean, I guess with hockey you're okay unless someone's got a power drill in the back.
Yeah, they're deflating the puck.
The hockey people are okay, but seriously, I've never heard about that in a sport. No. Baseball, no, but I've never heard about this in a sport that uses an inflatable ball. I may have never heard about that in soccer. Maybe it's happened.
Well, the
deflating.
Yeah, the physics behind that is in a colder atmosphere when the playoffs and the Super Bowl, obviously it's cold out there.
Yes.
And
air molecules.
Slightly deflating the ball means you have a better grip on the ball. You can get your fingers dug into it and therefore have hopefully better accuracy. What I really found hypocritical about it is, since Tom Brady is the golden boy of the NFL, all he got was suspended for 4 games.
Now who's he married to?
Giselle,
that's right. Ugh, I hate him already.
And he played he played not bad last night. And a lot of people forget he's 40 years old.
Yeah, well, the quarterback's a good QB can kind of...
they can last 37, 38, but 40...
Yeah, it's getting up there, like any athlete. But what are the oldest quarterbacks?
Oh.
Like the ones who lasted...
Wow.
I mean, it's some of them... Some of the big guys whose names I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm trying to think here. The older quarterbacks that stayed around for a long time. Let's see.
Denver Broncos guy?
Elway?
Yeah. Didn't he last
about average. He stayed I think he was in the league 16 years. I'm trying
it's a hell
to think.
of a run in the sport though.
Whenever I think of an older player still playing football, I automatically think of George Blanda.
Okay.
He turned, he was like a dual position guy that kind of morphed into the kicker, and he was he played until he was 42 or 43. Yeah. In NFL terms, that's ancient.
Yeah, sure.
Because to give you an idea about the ages of players now playing and their longevity, an average running back's career in the NFL is 5 years.
Right.
Because it's such you're getting hit a lot, your body breaks down, and you can only be at peak performance.
The thing I find weird about those guys, like in their 40s or whatever, is the quarterback are the guys. They're the guys who get hit, or hopefully they're not getting hit.
Right.
Right. But they're the ones who are who, I mean, in their career, they're going to take a few
Oh, they're going to take shots.
hard hits, right? Because everyone's gunning for them. So
yeah, I'm trying to think. Montana was around for a while. Marino.
Montana. Yeah, those are the guys I was thinking about, aren't they?
Marino made it pretty late.
Old. Marino. Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking of. Those guys.
Sammy Baugh, way back in the day, he was a pretty old guy too, playing.
Yeah,
slinging Sammy Baugh. But yeah.
So NFL. So
they're usually out of the league.
What's
36, 37.
What's the deal with the? So they played the Chiefs. Where are the Chiefs from?
Kansas City.
They still have like the Chiefs and the what's the other one? Redskins.
There's the Redskins.
I shouldn't have even said that. It just makes me kind of puke.
The name?
In 2017. Yeah, it really does. It really does.
I'm very conflicted because Washington, the Redskins, they're actually my favorite team. I'm very
like the team, but if they change the name...
I'm conflicted about it because...
If they change the name, guess what you get? New kit.
Yeah.
You could just get a whole new, new snazzy, brand new outfits and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it is racist. I'm going to say it.
It's totally racist.
The name Redskins people, it is racist.
It's totally racist.
And I as a fan,
I mean, when you step it back, look, we're more. Look, part of the thing about us on this show is we grew up with all sorts of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But we also grew up during actual civil rights and all that, so it made people think, and and there's a lot being talked about with white privilege and all kinds of things, and I know, and it goes all over the spectrum. But the thing is there's just some things that you just go, wow, and granted, we aren't as enlightened.
As we
growing
think we
up,
are,
and it's just a institutionalized. Well,
it is
institutionalized. Let's just leave it at that. Well, but then you go, it's 2017, and you go, okay, that team name gotta change. Period.
Yeah.
Hey,
I agree.
Change it.
Yeah,
do it now.
In fact, I've been very over the last 2 or 3 years. More than 2 or 3 years. I've been very conflicted because as a fan, I followed them since. The Over the Hill gang, right? Well, late 70s, early 80s. That's when I started being a Redskins fan. And so I'm like, I've grown attached to these guys, but I recognize that the name is just offensive.
Well, remember the Chicago Cubs World Series, right?
Yeah.
Was that 2 years ago now?
Yeah.
And who did they play? Cleveland.
The Cleveland Indians.
And they start rolling out their old mascot.
Chief Wahoo. Yeah.
Guys. Yeah. And when we were growing up, we didn't. We grew up with. I tell you. I mean, we grew up with restaurant names and all sorts of stuff. And that's not to say it's right. It's like you become enlightened in the mainstream. People go, look, and then you go, that's that's wrong.
Not cool.
And and the thing is in your. I can say when I was growing up, I wasn't thinking along those lines.
No.
Like native peoples and stuff. It was always like I was taught, wow, look at all these amazing things that they did, and I
look
learned
how
about
far we've come.
I learned about the tribes and the peoples of the North Pacific Northwest and all the stuff that they did, the food production and their culture and all of that. And then it's like, we came in and pretty much screwed them all over. And you're like, that's bad. So we grew up learning that. But then you have names like this and products and whatnot. And I mean, I have a fascinating book of trademark, it's called Trademarks. I think they're all public domain now. From the 1920s and the 1930s.
Ooh.
It's a fantastic book. I got it just as design inspiration.
Okay.
Because I was designing some stuff, and I actually designed a logo based on one of the logos, an old RCA logo. And I love this book, and I've showed it to people, and it's a fascinating book. Of course, it's 20s and 30s, so ton of Art Deco and kind of that early, almost space age Art Deco kind of look. Cool stuff, Greek influence things, and then a whole bunch of they put it in a book, bunch of racist stuff. in there. I mean, massively. You know, you look at it today and you go, whoa, look at that, you know. Shoe polish and toothpaste and all sorts of things like that. And
pancake syrup.
And it's all, you know, native people, you know, lots of chiefs and things like that.
Yeah.
And then a lot of African-American portrayals that are pretty darn bad.
You know,
it's uncomfortable to talk about, but
it is. I remember talking with he is a local comedian, and he was on the show and we were talking and rapping and stuff, and it was during football season, so we were talking about you know football and stuff, and he asked me and he asked me, who's your favorite team, right? And I said, well, the Redskins.
Ugh.
And he gave me this look, and he says, are you comfortable with that? Not really. And he goes,
something's playing.
excellent.
Yeah.
But
no idea what.
And he said, are you comfortable with that? I said, no, not really. You know, because, I mean, what if, and his point was this, and it's a great point. Let's change it around. What if the team wasn't called the Redskins, right? What would you be comfortable if the team was called the Washington Blackskins?
No.
Or the Washington,
Yeah.
you
No,
know,
I mean,
whatever,
yeah.
you know? And I said to him, I looked at him, and I said, I've never thought about it in that way.
Yeah,
you
no. It's 2017. It's like the Cleveland. I hate. Again, I hate saying. We're saying the names, and of course they say the names on the sports and all that, but I'm like, it's making me really uncomfortable.
Yeah, there are some that the images and what it evokes aren't pretty, and the Redskins are one of them. And I because people ask me, because I was a huge fan of them, I still am. They're like, well, what do you think about it? And I'm quite open. I think they should change their name. People say, well, it's tradition. But to me, that means the same as when those Trumpers get up and talk about they're trying to change our heritage and our culture. Some heritages and culture need to be changed, or I like to think of it as evolve.
Well, we're back to like getting rid of the Robert E. Lees and all that stuff too. I mean, it's same difference, right? And it's like I'm like,
so I've been
get it out of here.
I've been thinking about supporting other teams. I've lately, and you know. I
just don't. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't get how a league doesn't step in and say, like, for example, famously the NBA has stepped in many occasions. We had that owner, the Clippers owner, a few years back that was, his girlfriend outed him making racist comments, and the league said, "We're done. You're out."
Yep.
And it's the NBA's like, how can we have you be a part of our organization and our sport? I mean, our sport is highly African American, and and how could we? And I was, I applauded that move. It really set a precedent, and that was the new NBA commissioner at the time. He was new, and he just came out there, and all the players and coaches and folks, and it's like, yes, that's right. Sorry, that's how it's got to go down,
right?
And you're talking to the rich old dude anyway. Like, oh, boo-hoo,
Yeah, he'll be crying all the way to the bank.
This isn't the guy who's sitting on the street corner now going, I lost my NBA team. No, I mean, this is a guy who's worth millions and millions of dollars. People are like, oh, no, well, you know what? To hell with you.
Right.
If you disagree with me. Sorry.
To hell with you.
Why is Friday like this?
I
had some stuff. I know. I had some stuff. Let's move on from this because this is uncomfortable. Sports. I haven't looked to see. Yeah. We should see what's going
on in the world of sports.
Yeah, Jay-Z's not here. Lots going on right now.
Yeah, college is ramping up.
A lot's going on with me. Just as far as the stuff that's going on, I haven't looked into soccer or checked in with the Timbers.
Right. Right.
This time right now, transitioning into the fall, usually is a time that I'm not too sporty. Like, I'll pick up the soccer For me, the soccer season always kind of starts in the fall, like the October-ish, that sort of thing. For me. So just kind of in my own rhythms, as you're kind of more inside and,
Well, the same with me. I'm so wonky about football that all else slides off to the periphery, right? Because oh my gosh, the Ducks, or it's NFL, so everything just kind of.
So Timbers are on the road tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow at 2 p.m. Saturday, they will be at Yankee Stadium.
Ooh, that's right, New York City
FC.
That's right.
Timbers.
Yeah. Not the Red Bulls, but the other New York team.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
I was just going to look here and see. Believe me, if you'd like to.
Hey, big game in Duckland this weekend.
Oh, okay.
Big game.
So the good news. See, this I have not. There's been stuff going on, so I haven't been following.
Okay.
And usually when Jay-Z's here, I prep a little something.
Right.
And I've been busy, but we're in the standings in the Western Conference. We're number 1 Seattle, number 2 Timbers.
There you go. Yeah.
Sporting KC in Vancouver and Houston Dynamo.
That's right.
Play out the first 5, but so Sounders in Portland. So good on that. And New York they'll be playing NYCFC, which is number 2 Eastern Conference. Toronto, NYCFC, Chicago in 3. Chicago's been doing with Chicago Fire.
Right. Yeah.
Red Bulls are 5. So and Columbus is 4. So there you go. There's your soccer standings.
That's right.
And you can go up and look at stuff. I'm really just my head hasn't been in sports with so much going on.
Right.
All the craziness going on with all the other stuff we're talking about, earthquakes and more auroras. By the way, auroras. I don't think we can see them here, but people are seeing auroras because of this sun activity.
Yeah.
Friday night it was the largest solar flare in 12 years, Jason.
There you go.
These are like 12-year events.
Yeah.
Also, I had heard last night on the weather CNN news, the gal, she said that 8 magnitude earthquake is typically a once a year occurrence at the most. So.
Yeah, it's Mother Nature is not a happy camper right about now. Yeah.
In the tech news, so Amazon's looking for a second headquarters.
Really?
And of course, Portland is on their list. They say there's 39 cities they're looking at. That at least that article. I think the list is shorter than that. Yeah. Portland is on that list, along with places like Denver, San Jose, and all of that. Portland already has a pretty big Amazon presence and outlet. They had one that was growing, and then they purchased a company in Portland, Oregon called Elemental. What does Elemental do? They are a startup, or they were a startup in live streaming over the internet. I've been to several in the years Elemental events and known people who work there. Live streaming video. They actually do a lot of sports and stuff. They've got servers that serve, like when you go up to watch your soccer Premier League or whatever, you might be streaming off of some of their technology.
Nice.
And so Amazon purchased them because Amazon does tons of streaming, and they need to expand, and they're looking for no HQ. So people in Portland are kind of happy about that. We've had so much news. Sadly, as a sideline to that story, last week, or I think it was this weekend, the CEO of Elemental, who I believe was around a 40-ish-year-old man, suddenly passed away. Sam Blackman, I'd met him once or twice in passing, along with the Elemental stuff. Good company. So unfortunately, the Elemental folks there downtown, employees and stuff, were pretty much saddened. It was a huge kind of a business news story that happened last week of his passing. He was a runner and bicyclist, and also very civically minded about Portland. They did a lot of community events and charity and whatnot. So again, really well home-ground, established Portland company with a real Portland outlook, with the CEO there with kind of a vision of that kind of improve your community and all that, and suddenly passed away. So sorry, how this does not feel like it's going to be the happy-go-lucky
feel good Friday.
Yeah, Apple is going to have a event. They have something coming up here. They're going to talk about their new iPhone. Rumor has it there's a $1,000 iPhone now.
Really?
That's the rumor.
$1,000 iPhone.
Yeah, that would probably be top of the line.
Is that what the cool kids are getting?
Yeah. Now the big thing, as far as I'm concerned, these days the Apple releases and stuff, it's like it used to be must see streaming TV, especially Steve Jobs, right? The Apple when he was alive, and it would be like, look. It's an iPhone. One more thing, look at that, right? And everyone would be mesmerized, and he would hypnotize everybody. And then, he passed, and then they released new stuff, and they got Tim Cook, who's not, no one's as charismatic as Steve Jobs was, let's face it. That doesn't mean Tim Cook isn't a good CEO or anything. It's just you can't follow that act up with anybody. You could say, well, maybe Elon Musk-ish is kind of the new charisma in there, probably. But so they're going to have an event. And I think the bigger news is whatever products they release or whatever, this event will take place in their new spaceship headquarters. Ooh. You've seen that, right, Jason?
No, I have not.
The Apple headquarters. It was designed by Steve Jobs.
Oh.
So before he died, he was approving the plans for the new Apple headquarters. And here it is. I'm trying to pull up a picture, and from space or from I'll take a look here. Here it is. Here we go. Just bear with us, folks. I hate this dead air stuff,
Right. I'll do some filler. Hello, everybody.
Well, this is an artist's rendition. I'm trying to find, because it's complete now. People have moved in. To me, it looks less like a spaceship and more like a large hadron collider.
Right.
Like, what are they doing in there?
Pentagon Schmenagon. We're going to make a circle.
Right, exactly. It is like that. I'm trying to see if there's an actual... There's pictures of the construction. It's huge. You see construction pictures, but... I don't know. You can look this up on the internet, folks. There's a close-up there. I'm just trying to see if I can find a decent photograph. Yeah. You look it up on your own dang time. Well, here we go. This is kind of. Yeah. But it's huge. I mean, that's a real big circle. Yeah. Pentagon style.
Just think if they could turn that into like a biodome.
Well,
the Apple biodome.
I think that's kind of what they're going for. I mean, I don't know. There's been weird things written about it, like something about how all the door handles are like handmade by Johnny Ivy or something. I don't know. There's all these weird things about how the doors open out, or there was something I read late last night about the elevator turns and spins while the doors open or something. I don't know, guys. Wow. Folks, like people.
When you go through the front doors and it whooshes open and closed,
Enterprise.
Does it send like subliminal messages? Like,
I don't know.
No.
Maybe there'll be a tour, but they'll host their event when they release their phones or whatever, talk about whatever. They'll be doing it there, so that'll be interesting to see. I don't know if they'll they're not going to do it outside, but they've got a huge court because it's circle. There's a huge courtyard. I don't know if they could like have a stage out there and do concerts or something. That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
So,
Apple stock.
Look it up. Look it up.
Look it up, people.
I'm trying to think of all the stuff that I saved that it's going to go. It's this. The problem is because we've mentioned it's been a pretty rapid, busy news week this week, coming off of the Labor Day weekend. It's been busy, and so we're just kind of like scrambling around, figuring stuff out. But it hasn't been like the good news.
Right.
So much. I mean, it's been hard to find that, as you could tell, with forest fires and biblical type things happening.
Right.
It's the end. Isn't it just like, have you been like going around like the last, I mean, probably
it's the end of days.
Probably started in January, you know?
Yeah.
You get that REM song stuck in your head.
It's the end.
Yeah.
We know it.
There's some just weird stuff. I was reading about a Greenland shark.
What?
Oh no, you don't even want to know. It's gross, man.
How do they survive that?
My news stories are all like that I saved are really freakish Mother Nature things. Like one of them was Dangerous Minds, and it's like you won't believe these 30 photographs of nature, right?
Yeah.
And the least disturbing photograph of their list was the fire ant flotilla happens during the thing.
Harvey, right?
Yeah. Fire ants, like what happens when they have a big storm and stuff, they get out and make their own raft and survive. They're real good at that.
Oh, yeah.
Fire ants.
They're hardy little guys.
Yeah, no. It's like, no. Just say no. So that was the least disturbing thing. You know, next to, a few weeks ago we talked about spiders that kill hummingbirds or praying mantises. I mean, it's just like, man, I tell you.
Let's see. The House did pass the $15.3 billion Harvey aid bill.
Yeah, I saw that.
So it's going up to be signed by Agent Orange.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see here. What else do we got?
There was a good science one. Probably missed it because people didn't see. But check this out.
Oh,
check this photo out, Jason and friends. Look at that.
Oh,
look at that. Looks like a nice photo of the sun, doesn't it? Or a little blurry.
That's like
this is the best ever image of a star beyond the sun.
Nice.
That is not the sun. That is a neighbor star. That is the
it's like 3 degrees.
Antares, the supergiant, red supergiant Antares is the best ever captured of a star other than the sun. I mean, you could actually see there's resolution. There's a little blurry, but how many light years away is this thing? 620 light years from Earth. So it's in light years. It's in our neighborhood. But still, 620 light years. That's
the photos like 5 degrees off of Jackson Pollock.
Yeah, with a mass, the diameter, Antares is 12 times the diameter and 700 times the mass. Mass is 12 times, and diameter is 700 times that of the sun. So this is a big sucker. Red giants are basically some of the biggest stars out there. Betelgeuse, I believe, is a red giant. But it's close, and it's big, so you could turn our high-resolution telescopes on it. And that'll only get better, I think, over time. We'll see. We'll see photos that will actually look more like the sun. I mean, now that we've got the sun resolved. So that was a good news kind of an item, I thought.
Right.
There was a thing about Irish people trying to catch a bat in their house. It's like a viral video. In sports news, the most important sports news, Jason, you're going to love this one. Are you ready for this? Portland Trailblazers sports news. Trailblazers Damian Lillard shedding weight with a vegan diet.
Ooh.
That's correct.
Wow.
Yeah. According to the Oregonian, Oregon Live.
Wow.
Portland Trailblazers guard Damian Lillard.
Who's gone vegan, huh?
Just shy of 200 pounds. One of his major focuses entering the off-season was to shed some weight and entering his sixth NBA season lighter and faster. That's something, because, I mean, the guy's, like, playing, like, he's playing great. Lillard has slimmed down, mixing his basketball workouts with swimming laps in the pool, putting the gloves on the boxing gym, and switching up his diet. The former Wingstop enthusiast is apparently trying at a vegan diet as the season approaches. Mm-hmm. Wow. So there you go. So he actually, what has he got? So yeah. So welcome Damian. We should give him a call. Recommend some things.
Welcome to the fold.
Yeah. Welcome to the dark side. So I thought that was interesting. That popped up late this week. Like I said, I was late. I could read you my emails. No. Yeah, I don't know. I just want everyone to stay safe out there.
Right.
I think that's. The other thing is, how is it just me, or has the Trump tweeting gone down?
A little bit, but he's been doing a more I guess we'd call positive one, because he's cutting deals with the Dems. So he's been very upbeat the last few days.
Yeah. Well, the reason I ask is because sources say that the Kelly, the chief of staff, right, and folks have somehow been able to intercept his twittering one way or another. Now the comment was that they could during the day they could, but if the guy's like nighttime or whatever, you got your phone, you're at night, or maybe you're sitting on the pot, you're like, I think I'm going to send out a tweet, right?
Sure. That's called a pot tweet. Not
to suggest that the president is doing that. No. Yeah. So what I heard this weird thing. I don't know if it's true.
Okay.
That somehow this is good. It gets into the idea that maybe the powers that be, maybe the deep state, have been. I know, right?
Yeah.
But think about it. It's possible have kind of intercepted the maybe the radio waves or whatever it is, the device, to be able to go nope, or whatever.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be funny if, like, you're Trump and you're in the White House, and it's nighttime, and you're like, I'm gonna say, who does he normally go after? Everybody, really.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, maybe he's like sitting there and going, that Merkel's really chapping my hide over there in Germany. I'm going to say something nasty about Merkel, right?
Crooked Hillary.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? And there he is sitting there up in the White House, and let me just no signal. No signal.
Right.
No signal. Oh, right?
I'll do it later.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's one of those. Happen. Right?
It could happen.
I'm not saying that this is true, but I've heard sources tell me.
Behind the bathroom door, there's Kelly with a scrambler, He's taking the whole signal. That could happen.
Yeah. I mean, they can do it. There are devices that would just, like, totally...
Yeah.
You could turn it on, and all our cell phones... It's basically wireless, owns the whole...
It's just a signal scrambler.
Yeah. Well, it just takes over the airwaves, and if you take over the frequencies that you're trying to broadcast on, you're done. And they use it. Yeah. They were using them. They were trying to use them in, like, movie theaters and places like that, and hospital places where they're like, hey, we don't want you to use your cell phone.
Yeah.
So, but they're very controversial. Yeah. And then the law enforcement has a very controversial device. This is true, that actually acts as an imposter, like cell phone imposter. You set it up, and they've talked about using these at protests and stuff like that. The folks are out doing stuff where they set these things up. I mean, this technology exists, and you basically create a cell phone site. I know the technology. I have worked on the technology. I know that is possible. I actually had a device that was a cell phone tower.
Wow.
I mean, it was basically for testing, and it would be like, hey, if I plug antennas into it and I set up antennas, this phone will see this device as a cell phone tower.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that exists, and they have these devices that they could come in and set them up, and your phone goes to the closest tower it sees, and then you could see what people are up to on their phones.
You can see what they're up to.
That's not some crazy, wacky InfoWars conspiracy that's happening.
Nope.
So I'm just thinking that maybe
that's how
someone within the White House could be
smart.
using this technology in conjunction with the president's Twitter feed.
Twittler in chief. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't even have to be that. It could be something different, you know. It was very weird because I always heard like Obama was the first person to tweet.
Yeah, first president, huh?
Right. I mean, Twitter came about during his administration, but they like what I was heard, like the president and even the secretary said, like, well, no, maybe not, because she had two of them, right?
Yeah,
personal or whatever. But like the president, they're like, here's your phone, your secure government NSA BlackBerry, unhackable. You can call Putin on the secure line. You can order a nuclear strike. That kind of a thing, right?
Sure.
Like, it's not just like, oh, here's your Apple phone with a bunch of apps that were made in China that may be spying on you, right? Like all of the rest of us plebes have.
Right.
So I always heard that the president has that secure BlackBerry or whatever. And so I've always wondered, well, how is Trump doing this? Because I mean, he had the phone during the campaign. It was his personal phone. It was like no big deal. But it's just like, did somebody go, here's your secure BlackBerry, sir? And he was just like, knocked it out of their hands. I got my own phone here, Yeah. It's like, oh, national security, yo.
Well, yeah, I don't think he stopped doing it. I think his tweaking though is different people, right? So when he goes after the Republicans, like working with the Democrats, that's his way of tweaking the Republicans. So to us, who are not of the conservative persuasion, we see his tweet, that's pretty ineffectual. What's going on? He hasn't ranked on anyone. But if you're a raging conservative, you see those things about the Dems, and it grinds your teeth, right? So give him a couple hours.
I mean, I don't think these are his tweets. Because a lot of these, just looking through them now.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example. Okay, he's got a pinned tweet, and it's, I encourage everyone in the path of Hurricane Irma to heed the advice and orders of local and state officials. And there's a hurricane, tweet about the thing, and then he's got a message to my fellow Americans, which is like kind of their.
There's no way he wrote any of those.
That's a video on Facebook and Instagram,
Yeah.
But here's what happened 5 hours ago.
Okay.
So we will. 16 hours ago, we will confront any challenge, no matter how strong the winds or how high the water. I'll just bring that up for you there, if you can see it, right? So I'm just looking to see as compared, because he's always sent out some zingers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 5 hours ago, Hurricane Irma is of epic proportions, perhaps bigger than we have ever seen. Be safe and get out of which way if possible. Federal G is ready. Our incredible U.S. Coast Guard saved more than 50,000 lives. I mean, he's been really on top of this thing, as you would expect a president to do. But then he goes, Republicans, sorry, but I've been hearing about repeal and replace for 7 years. Didn't happen. Even worse, the Senate filibuster rule will never allow the Republicans to pass even greater legislation. 8 Dems control. I mean, he's just kind of like doing this. Republicans must start the tax reform, tax legislation cut ASAP. Don't wait until the end of September. Need to know more than ever in a hurry. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's actually, in my mind, not that bad. It's still pushing his agenda.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still telling the Republicans in Congress, and he's been doing that. But as compared to
the overt,
he's gone after
sort of,
like Ryan and McConnell and other or anybody, Clara McCaskill. I can't even say her name right.
McCaskill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in
Flake,
tweets,
Jeff Flake, raking him over the coals.
Yeah.
Well, of course, we always seen the crooked Hillary.
Yeah. So maybe that has toned down, and someone that General John Kelly is.
Right, yeah. But you know what? I guarantee a lot of those articulate tweets are not even his. There's no biglies in it, and there's no misspelling, which he's famous for.
Well, the stuff with here's my presidential, here's a video of me and all that, that's typically, written by a staffer.
Sure.
I mean, it was for Obama. Come on, you think Obama did his own tweets? Maybe in a week or two, twice a week, maybe Obama said, "Hey, let me get that BlackBerry with the Twitter," and said something, right? Because I think even Obama, if I remember, when he tweet, they'd say that was actually the president. Tweeting.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's a staffer going, the president is now here in Ohio or something like that.
Right, yeah, because he would do the tweet. If he did it himself, he would do the tweet, then he'd do the dash, then the capitalized letter O to let people know that was really him that had sent that.
The VIPs do that.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. This is, the president of the United States, the most powerful person arguably in the world. I mean, this was the thing with Trump. It's like, I really don't want you on your Twitters and your Facebooks. Leave that to us little plebes down here, plebeians.
You've got AIDS. Let them do it.
Yes, you've got your interns and presidential people, and I mean, what's Kellyanne Conway doing? Give her the Twitter. Maybe she is putting those out. Who knows?
That Kellyanne.
It's probably someone under, well, I'm not going to be ageist. I was going to say, it's probably someone under 30 who's just...
Right. Here, do you really know how to work this thing? Sure, I'll take care of it. I do have a cool little science story for you.
Science?
Yeah.
Science!
Blinded by Science.
I love that song.
This is Life Existed on Mars, Shocking Discoveries Suggest.
Yes, I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
You are correct, sir.
Let's see here. The discovery is a huge boost in the hunt for extraterrestrials and could back up a theory suggesting life on Mars may have been forced underground when disaster turned the planet into a frigid desert. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Patrick Gazda, a postdoctoral researcher at Los Alamos National Laboratory, said, because boratates may play an important role in making RNA one of the building blocks of life. Finding boron on Mars further opens the possibility that life could have once arisen on the planet.
Yeah, the headlines, as everything with Mars, the headlines are like, one of the headlines says, Mars once had a life. Boron detected by Curiosity reveals itself. Well, still, you haven't proven that there was life on Mars. But this is another strong indicator. It's boron, and you need that. That's one of the things. I actually didn't even know that. But that that's a crucial build. What does they call it? Like all of these things, crucial building block for life. Yeah. You need, you can go to like the moon or whatever, look around and go, hey, there's stuff here that you're not going to be able to put life together. Yeah. We don't have the chemicals. Right. Boron is one of the building blocks. So that's, and everything and this was Curiosity found this, everything that we do and look at there, that it finds seems to fall into place. The water table stuff, what we probably haven't discussed, is that there was more evidence of significant water rising and falling underground than we had seen, and basically based on flows, and it looks at how that happens. What we need is another probe out there.
Well,
yeah.
SpaceX founder Elon Musk
has
pledged to put humans on the surface of the red planet by 2030.
Yes, he has.
Please, Elon.
Yeah,
Elon, you're the only one that's really showing any moxie and any innovative spirit these days. Please do something. Continue your good work for mankind, and let's get someone on the red planet by 2030. That would be fantastic. Not only from just the pure human beating your chest, hey, we went to Mars. But, I mean, think of all the cool technology came out of the space program of going to the moon. I mean, a lot of stuff came out of that. I mean, just think of all the innovation and all of the new technologies that will emerge from this. I can't wait. I hope he does it. Maybe that's the key to the future of it. That it has to be some private,
Yeah. There was another. I was just looking at the Mars stuff. There was the other piece to this whole life. Obviously, we're looking evidence of water. It's there.
Yeah.
Building blocks of life. We're finding it. It's there. The idea that we're looking at is either there's life on Mars today. It's not going to be on the surface though. No. It's going to be underground.
Yeah.
Probably microbes or little bacteria or whatever. If we find that, that's going to be a huge discovery.
Or Morlocks.
Ooh.
Wouldn't that be cool? Let me just put that there.
Something from the, what is that? I can't even think today.
Because Morlocks were underground.
No, I'll think of it in a minute.
Or maybe some Tusken Raiders.
The explosion. Remember the evolutionary explosion?
The Big Bang?
No, this was the big explosion of life on Earth and the with all the really weird troglodytes and all that stuff. What the hell do they call that again? See, I know this. Every morning we come down, I sit here and drink coffee. My brain just kick starts.
Yeah.
I mean, believe me, at 4 a.m, I can tell you I'd be on top of it.
Oh yeah, 4 a.m. We're hip deep in troglodyte talk.
Yeah, but, I mean, look at those fossils, man. Yeah, it's like the Cambrian. Is the Cambrian, right?
Yes.
The Cambrian explosion.
Yes.
Right? Wasn't it the Cambrian period?
Yeah, we're
about a mental block on
a lot of evolutionary second cousins twice removed.
Yes.
No,
but it was the Cambrian period.
Yeah.
Of the Paleozoic era of the
Phanerozoic French caves, right?
The Cambrian lasted 55.6 million years from the end of proceeding of the I'm not even going to say that period 541 million years ago to the beginning of the yes we know The Cambrian marked a profound change in life on Earth. Prior to the Cambrian, the majority of living organisms on the whole were small, unicellular, single cell, and simple. The Precambrian being exceptional. Complex, multicellular organisms gradually became more common in the millions of years immediately preceding the Cambrian. But anyway, the rapid diversification of life forms in the Cambrian, known as the Cambrian explosion, produced the first representatives of all modern animal phyla. The first representatives of all modern animal phyla came out of the Cambrian. So all of our earliest, creepiest little bug-like ancestors all came out of the Cambrian, from what we evolved from. And then, as I recall, there was a big wipeout. The Earth, something happened. Meteors or something struck the Earth and boom. Which is why they have like these places with the fossil digs.
Yeah.
And there's just like all this weird fossils. These are the weird troglodyte,
Right.
You're like, ooh. So that's always what I think we'll find on like a planet. If we find advanced life, there'll be like these weird...
Yeah,
that would be creepy.
That would be, but I want more. I want more locks. But I think even more than that, one thing. Okay, I tell you something. One thing I don't want. I don't want to find any fossil or any remains of Ewoks. I'm not an Ewok fan.
Oh.
Everyone loves the Ewoks, little
fun.
furry, little...
I'm fine with
I do not like the Ewoks, man. At least the Tusken Raiders, right? At least the Tusken Raiders were open about who they were, right?
Yeah.
Ewoks, I don't trust little buggers. They're all furry, and they're all happy one moment, and they got a switchblade to your throat the next, right?
That's a good point, though. That is a good point.
See?
That is a good point. You'd
Yeah.
be like,
I don't trust them.
Yeah.
I don't trust
they're
them.
making
It's
dinner.
like those tribbles. It's like those tribbles, man.
Like
1 minute they're
tribbles.
nice and furry and Kirk's hugging them. Next thing they're filling up the loading bay and they're threatening,
Well,
everything.
They're like space bunnies. They like to reproduce
They do.
quickly.
They do. But
Now I'm gonna have to go watch that. I haven't seen The Trouble with Tribbles
I love
in
that.
so long.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go up on Netflix today. I've been jonesing. I'm like, well, I've watched every original Star Trek episode about 40 billion times or something.
Billion.
But
Yeah.
it's like those kinds of things are like a nice blanket, a little nice. Like when you're feeling a little. Everyone has them. Think in your own life about stuff, shows or music, albums that you listen to over and over again. This isn't something that you like show. It's like, I'm going to listen to some Dark Side of the Moon or something. It's like a blanket.
Yeah, it's the entertainment version of comfort food.
Yes, it is exactly that.
It makes you get to your happy place. Yeah,
And
everyone
Star
has those.
Trek, the original series, and thank God that it's on Netflix, that you can watch it.
Yeah.
Right there on the Netflix streaming, is that for me. Like, if I just don't know, I want something and I want to be entertained and I don't want to do, it's like, what about a little Kirk and Spock and Bo?
You can lose yourself in that.
Yeah. And every damn last detail of the show.
Yeah.
But you don't care. And and there's enough there that you can cycle through your favorite episodes. I have not seen The Trouble with Tribbles in quite some time.
No.
I've seen other ones.
Oh, true. Yeah.
But it's a classic episode.
Is that your favorite episode? I mean, we're not even talking next generational
close
all that
because
stuff.
it
Just
is a
original.
It is a very good episode.
You know what mine is?
It is a very good episode. It also, is it the one where the fight breaks out, the bar fight between the Klingons and Scotty? Dang.
Yes.
Come on, it doesn't get anybody. Is it the I didn't say the Enterprise looks like a garbage scowl. I said the Enterprise is a garbage scowl.
Yeah, it's not the one with Sulu without a shirt running around with a sword.
No. I think that's another one. That might be I think that's the.
Gotcha.
That's either the mirror or the or there's the one where everyone gets kind of drunk and wacky and stuff, and they all do a lot of weird stuff.
Right.
But the Trouble with Tribbles has the bar fight between the Klingons and Scotty and the engineers.
Yeah.
And he gets reprimanded.
Yeah, Scotty.
And it's a great scene because Kirk's like, well, what do you say? And he said, well, he insulted you, Captain. And Kirk's like, well, they're all in the lineup.
Yeah.
Like, they're getting reprimanded because, I mean, the Enterprise, the space MPs, they're on a space station.
And they're all wearing red shirts, yeah.
Come down and break
Jenkins
up this bar
is
fight.
part of that.
They break up a bar fight between Scotty and the other officers and whatnot. And
leave it up to a Scotsman to start a fight with Klingons, right?
Well, that's when you really like Scotty too. You're like, oh yeah, this is I mean, the first time you watch it and when you get to the Trouble with Tribbles and Scotty gets in a bar fight, you're like, I like that character because he's just like he's a good-hearted guy and he's going to defend his honor. But I love it because Kirk, he's got him in the lineup, the reprimand, and Scotty's like, he's the guy in command and he was in the fight, so he's taking responsibility. The chief, he's like, I take responsibility, and all the men are there, and guys. I guess the ladies of the Enterprise didn't get in the bar fight. Smart.
Yeah.
And he says, well, the Klingon insulted you, Captain. He said, oh, he did. Oh, so that's when you started throwing punches, is when you saw it. Scotty's like, nope. And he's like, well, when did this explain to me how this fight broke out,
Yeah.
And then he goes, they said the Enterprise is a garbage scowl. And he's like, so they insulted the Enterprise and you started a fight? And it's like, yes, I'm the chief engineer of the Enterprise. If you insult my ship.
That's right.
He loves the Enterprise more than Kirk does.
Well, it's
I
his,
mean,
it's
it's
his
a
baby,
real
right?
like love triangle, right?
Right, because he's always tinkering with it, making sure everything's up to snuff. If
Yeah.
Scotty, I
Anyway.
love the character of Scotty. Scotty, I want to party with you, hot
And
shot.
those are old. Yeah, there's a Next Generation thing when he guest was on the Next Generation.
That's right.
And I love that episode. It's cheesy, and it's a stupid premise. But hey,
But who
sometimes
cares?
Star Trek is cheesy and a stupid premise.
That's right.
But I love that episode with Scotty.
Yeah,
in it.
my favorite episode,
Next Generation.
piece of the action,
Oh yeah.
where
Yes.
the gangsters, Bella.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's very much like
up
Trouble with
with-
Tribbles. It's kind of
What's up with him and those funny is?
Yeah.
Like Spock's like, huh?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I love that.
We find actually one thing you find out in that episode: Captain Kirk does not know how to drive a car.
No, right? Because in the future, who's driving
Who's
cars?
driving a car? You have got
Yeah.
self-driving vehicle movers. Nobody's driving a car.
Right, for God's sakes, they got replicators
Which
for your
is
dinner.
weird.
Yeah.
They retconned that in the J.J. Abrams. Totally
Oh.
retconned that in the J.J. Abrams. So
is
here's
very
a little
true.
problem, Star Trek fans.
How do you reconcile that?
Piece of the action. Jim Kirk does not know how to drive.
Yeah.
It's like a 1920s car, but it's still a combustion vehicle. He's like Spock. He's putting it in reverse. Spock's like,
He's
Spock's
grinding the gears.
Thinking
and-
of the logic of, let's see, what do I know about combustion and how to do it? He cannot drive.
No.
J.J. Abrams, he's a little kid. He's driving a classic Mustang, riding around a motorcycle. He's a motorcycle. There's a little problem there, Star Trek fans. Oh, the fandom is so, just like the political parties. I think the Star Trek fandom is
There's purists
fractured.
and,
And the new things coming out.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. With Trouble with Tribbles has a lot of Klingon
Yeah.
in it, and that's our original Klingons. Mm-hmm. Dudes with
Without the
goatees,
without the
and a little-
bumps in the
yeah,
head.
dudes with goatees and a little
The Fu Manchu guy, right?
yeah, little green makeup,
Right.
And since that time, and they used the trouble with Tribbles to kind of mention it, because there's a famous episode of Deep Space Nine, and it was the anniversary of Star Trek, where the technology was such that they could put the two episodes together. So I don't know if you've ever seen this, and I'm not sure what this episode is. The Deep Space Nine folks go back into a time warp thing, and they're there at the Trouble with Tribbles.
Ooh.
You've never seen this one?
No.
And Worf is in it.
Worf.
And at some point, this guy comes out, and they go, "Who are those guys?" And Cisco goes, "Those are the Klingons." And they're like, "What?" And they look at Worf, and Worf goes, "We do not discuss this." And that was it, right? And it was it was a famous anniversary episode
Nice.
event. You've never seen that?
Never seen that one.
Well, I think Deep Space Nine's on Netflix. I'll try to find the link. I mean, I should. Let's talk about Star Trek episodes. Yeah. It's real good though, because they basically go back and they're doing a thing. It has something to do with the bad guy, and then, but they're real retro about it.
Yeah.
Like they're sort of like because Jadzia Dax, of course, is a Trill, which means there's the Star Trek thing. A Trill, it's a symbiotic. So there's a little bug
Yeah.
that lives inside the person's body
Yeah.
of a Trill. So the Trills are kind of a person like you or me.
Yeah.
But then there's a bug that lives in the body that kind of melds with you, and that's the person.
Wow.
That's the Jadzia Dax.
If this was you're blowing my mind here.
Well,
by
that's
the way.
that's the main kind of. She's the main character.
If this was like SpongeBob, it'd be like Plankton taking over a body. Ooh, think about that for a second.
But so Jadzia, so they live through hosts, right?
Yes.
Just like us hosts live a normal lifespan and then they die, but then they take the little bug out and put it in a new host, and
So they're
train.
sentient. They're like sentient parasites.
Yes, yes, that's their whole planet is like that. Jadzia Dax.
Wow.
Dax.
Yeah.
And so Dax is the main
Dax.
is the bug. And so Dax has lived centuries, right?
Yeah.
And they've known Dax through, like the Klingons know who Dax is, and it's like, and they'll like, and they're cool. It's really interesting because in 2017 about identity and things like that, it's actually kind of an interesting play on that. So when they meet Jadzia, she's a kind of a newer host, right?
Yeah.
But she used to be, or Dax used to be Curzon.
Yes.
A dude.
Yeah.
Now it's Jadzia, a woman. Jadzia Dax was Curzon. Curzon died. He was an old man.
Yeah.
So all these people, including Captain Sisko,
were
and a bunch of Klingons, because the Klingons were buddies with Curzon too, and they liked him. And Sisko, same thing. And so Dax is an old friend, but now it's Jadzia Dax, not Curzon. So she has all the memories. She has all the memories and all the stuff of Curzon Dax and all the Daxes.
Very interesting.
But she's still Jadzia, though.
Yeah.
She's still a woman.
Yeah.
And Jadzia with new experiences.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
Yes.
In a Star Trek way. But it's very cool.
Yeah.
And again, Trials and Tribulations was the episode of Deep Space Nine where they went back to the November 4th, 1996, the 101st episode. They have a little picture of the ending there. But they go back when Temporal Investigations arrives on Deep Space Nine. This is actually a good one.
Temporal Investigations.
Oh yes, Temporal Investigation. And at one point they're because if you do something that has to do with the timeline, like happens in Star Trek all the time, right?
Yeah.
Like go back, save the whales and all that.
Oh yeah.
You get a visit from Federation Temporal Starfleet Temporal Investigation. So they're sitting there interviewing Sisko going, then what happened? Oh yeah. And at one point they mention Kirk and they're just like, oh, Kirk. He was the worst. And I mean, it's like they hate Kirk at Temporal Investigations.
Right.
Temporal Investigations arrives on Deep Space Nine. Sisko recounts how he and the crew of the Defiant travel back in time to the 23rd century to prevent the assassination of Captain James T. Kirk during the original Enterprise's mission on Space Station K7.
Look at that.
And so they used back in the 90s that technology where they took old film, kind of the Forrest Gump type thing, and they put in news, and they go back, they change into the original uniforms, and there's something up with the Klingons and all sorts of stuff.
Gotcha.
And then Jadzia Dax, who had lived through this time period in several centuries, at one point she kind of goes and she goes, God, I love this. This is like, it's like going back to the 50s or the 60s and the muscle cars and the leather jackets. She's like, there's just never been a period like this in Starfleet. Look, these uniforms are classic. Look at the tricorder. She's like, look at the design of the tricorder. It's so, it's like really nostalgic.
Yeah.
Look at this phaser. Anyway,
right.
That's a good one. That's a good one. You should actually, it's your homework. You should go check that one out. It's on Netflix. Deep Space Nine.
I'll check it out.
You've never seen it.
No, I got to put it in the queue because I'm starting to go through.
And it's a one-off. You don't. Deep Space Nine is a big story arc. That's what makes it good. But this one is a good standalone Deep Space Nine that you like, and it integrates like seamlessly with the Tribbles. So they wanted to do an anniversary Star Trek thing at the time in '96. I don't know what that was, 30 years or whatever the anniversary was. It was a big anniversary.
30 years, 66, 96.
Yeah. So it was 30 years then. And then they took this old episode and they said, well, we got Deep Space Nine running right now. Let's merge the two together and make this our anniversary special. Yeah. And it was, it's just a silly one-off, but it was well made.
Yeah, cool.
So I think you'd really actually enjoy it.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out.
So
I've
Chief O'Brien.
Yes.
Guess where he is during the episode? During the bar fight.
Was he hanging out with Scotty, right? Yeah. So you got a Scotsman and an Irishman in the middle of a hullabaloo. That's
Klingons
perfect.
in the bar. I mean, come on, right?
Yeah, that totally fits.
Yeah.
O'Brien and Scotty.
Yeah.
Did we ever find out what Scotty's name was, the character name, Scott?
Montgomery Scott.
Ooh, Montgomery's. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
So anyway.
Okay, I got a question.
Yes.
What happened to the Romulans?
what happened to them?
Yeah, because remember they
what era of Star Trek? You're talking 50-year, 4 series.
Well, they were
they
were kind of a presence, in the original 66, 67 Star Trek.
They appeared in a few. They actually were not that big of a presence. There's only a few
Romulan
episodes. And famously, the first episode of the Romulans, one of the Romulan characters was it was the guy who ended up playing Spock's dad.
Ooh.
Yeah, is it Mark Leonard? Yeah, but he's in that first Romulan episode. It's like it's Spock's dad actually, but it's not Spock's dad. He's just a Romulan guy. It's the one where they go out and they do something, and it's kind of a run silent, run deep. The Romulan Marauder comes out with the cloaking device, and they get in a big battle with the Enterprise and the Romulans, like out in the neutral zone or out there. And then there's the one where Kirk goes into the neutral zone on secret orders, but violates the neutral zone. And he goes to sickbay and gets makeup to look like a Romulan. And then he meets the Romulan lady. There's that one. So those are 2 original series episodes that I'm aware of that are major Romulan ones. And I'm trying to think if there were any others. They may have been mentioned a few times. Should have looked that up. So they're really not that many
Romulan sort of. Yeah, okay.
Because so all of that original Star Trek, which is tying into whatever's going to happen with this Discovery show, because it takes place like supposedly 10 years before the events of the Enterprise and all that. But the idea of the original Star Trek is both the Klingons and the Romulans, we have neutral zones with both of those folks, and there's a détente and a Cold War.
A DMZ.
Yeah, exactly. The Romulans very much so, and we don't know what's going on so much with the Romulans other than if you cross the neutral zone, you might encounter them. The Klingons, same deal, although there's the frontier where we encounter the Klingons more often. Like on planets where it's like, oh, we came as the Federation, we want you to join the planets. Well, the Klingons already got here, look. And then it's like, I Dream of Jeannie's dad.
Yeah. So if...
Literally. Because the guy the actor who played the dad on I Dream of Jeannie famously played one of the really good Klingon general. Kang, I think.
Kang?
Yeah. I think so. And they actually reprised his role in The Next Generation.
Really?
Put the makeup on. Oh, yeah. Some of those Klingons, the actors got to play Klingons later in The Next Generations and Deep Space Nine with the makeup. Cool. And
Gotcha.
Yeah. Gotcha. So there's continuity there.
Right.
With those folks.
Okay. See, I've always got these questions, these Star Trek questions that's going on.
I know. It's and I'm like, I'm real good at this, but not so good. I mean, you realize, I can. Oh, look at that. Oh. I can say this stuff to you. Yeah. And I can sound like I'm knowledgeable about Star Trek. And go, oh yeah, this because I've watched I'm a fan. But there's always someone, like, say, go to a Star Trek convention or something, and maybe they're dressed like Worf.
A Trekophile,
And it's like, hands down, you will never, like, you could play Super Trivia Jeopardy with that person about Star Trek, and it's like, you forget about it. Like, among normal people would say, hey, you're a fan, you know a lot about this Star Trek. It's like, not as much as that. That person will quote line and episode number and what year it aired. I mean, it's like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
What I call the super fan.
Oh, yeah.
And I can be one step removed from that. I think at some point I just use the internet,
Gotcha.
But I was going to... Balance of Terror is one of the Mark Leonard playing, and I believe that's the first Romulan episode of the original Star Trek, Balance of Terror. What I do, if you really are, and I think this is really fun, if you're really into the Star Trek, and you're like you were sitting here and you're thinking, those Romulans, I kind of dig the Romulans.
Yeah.
And I always actually did dig them because they're more mysterious than the Klingons. They were like, what's up with the Romulans?
I mean, they had a lot of plot lines with the Klingons, but the Romulans, you're right, they were mysterious. They'd come in and they would...
Where the hell did you guys
Or they would
from?
reference them from time to time, and you're like, what's going on?
The neutral zone, the Romulans.
So I want to know the backstory to the Romulans.
It's all there. It's all there.
I'm going to check it out when I get
It's all there. Here's what you do.
Yeah.
And this is the great thing. If you like the Romulans or the Klingons or whatever, you Google Romulan episodes Star Trek. Just put that in Google and then go down and you will find like websites. There's a Memory Alpha and Memory Beta, which is the Wikipedias for Star Trek and all that.
Yeah.
You will find then listings from the original series. You can find them in time. So you could Enterprise... Star Trek Enterprise was the first in time of the Star Trek series. It happens before Kirk and Spock and everything, like 100 years-ish before-ish.
Yeah.
Something like that. So you could see it chronologically, like where on Enterprise we encounter the Romulans, and then you get origin stories and stuff. Or you could just do it on when they appeared, like in the original series. But they'll give you every episode from every season of every Star Trek show. And then you could watch through the story arc. People have put together DVD sets. There is actually used to be DVD sets where you could go buy that people put together the Klingon story arc, the Romulan story arc. And it's really fun.
Yeah.
It's really fun because you actually end up finding and go, well, this and this, and then the original series, and it's like, and then you get an origin. You're like, oh, now I get it. Why the Romulans are doing this or that. I don't know.
Right. I'm gonna have to put that in the queue.
Yeah.
I'm binging right now. Old Hee Haw.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Old Hee Haw.
Old Hee Haw.
Which actually. Hand in hand back in the 60s when you were on television.
I'm on right now. I'm on this.
I recommend a little Dragnet along with that.
Jack Webb, yeah. But I'm on this whole thing of Buck Owens and the Bakersfield Sound, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why I started watching it. There's Roy Clark. And Buck Owens.
Man,
Grandpa Jones, Minnie Pearl.
They were bad, man. They were, I was going to say bad something, which is what we say when someone's really a good player.
Yeah.
But
Bad Mama Jamma.
Yeah, they were something else.
Yeah, no, because it was all stemmed out of watching this documentary on Netflix on country music. And I've always been intrigued by the non-Nashville set. Like
the Bakersfield.
The Bakersfield crowd, right?
Can't even speak. Bakersfield, California.
Right. And so, of course, I got Buck Owens. Buck Owens at my age. What do I know Buck Owens from? Hee Haw.
Yeah.
So I'm going to check out Hee Haw.
Well, they when they do like a musical kind of thing.
Yeah.
Roy Clark and Buck Owens. It was pretty. They were
People see these guys, the two guys in overalls.
You think like hee-haw, country music, but check it out. There's some real music,
right? Because they saw them as entertainers, folks. Right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, there's those guys in their overalls. They're entertainers. They're not musicians, but Buck Owens and his Buckaroos and Roy Clark, man, they were world class musicians, and they got down.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about it is totally glossed over today. I mean, folks, if you want to have some fun, go back and watch Old Hee Haw. But they would jam with like the major peeps at the time.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I saw this one that they're sitting around and they're kind of, you can tell it's kind of an improv, kind of not, because it's TV and stuff. But them and Conway Twitty. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, wow. I mean, these guys get to like play with, in the 70s, the creme de la creme of the country music world. The Loretta Lynn's, the Dolly Partons, the Conway Twitties, the Willie Nelsons, the Waylon Jennings, the Johnny Cashes, And I remember my parents watching that show when I was young, Oh, where are you tonight? Why did you leave me here all alone? Remember that yet? I searched the world over and thought I found true love. You met another and you were gone. You guys remember that? Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, that was great, man. Or they'd say it's some name of some town, a population of 548, and they'd all yell, salute. Anyway. This all stemmed off a Bakersfield sound thing. I go off on tangents, folks. I'll sit there and something will pique my interest. Next thing you know, I'm going far and wide off to the left and right, looking at stuff to where I've now, ensconced in hee-haw. But, hey, that's what I do.
I'm trying to look up the famous duo.
Ooh.
But I can't.
Country music duo?
Well, the Pickin' guys.
I'm picking and I'm grinning.
Like Roy Clark and Buck Owens, but these were the other guys, the Scruggs and whatever. I can't remember their name. God.
Earl Scruggs.
Yeah. Oh, I know. See, you throw that out there. I got to prepare. I need notes. For gosh sakes.
Scruggs and...
Yeah, those guys. Whatever. I'm sorry. There's no brain cells left today. It's Friday.
Yeah.
And it's kind of raining, too, which is, we like the rain because of the forest fires.
I remember the Earl Scruggs, but I don't...
Yeah, Earl Scruggs, that's his name.
And the
Thanks.
the old, the Carter family.
Yeah.
That's just the stuff that I... historical
Earl
stuff.
Scruggs. What the heck?
Get down.
Because they did a whole bunch of stuff together.
Yeah.
Foggy Mountain Breakdown.
Yes, Foggy
that
Mountain.
Was the one. But who the hell was the other guy? One of the kills me.
One of the coolest team ups. That's not Hee Haw, by the way. So I digress. But is Leadbelly and Woody Guthrie.
Mm-hmm.
And you would think, why on earth would they team up with Leadbelly and Woody Guthrie? That's, but not so far as you would think when you understand the old...
That's all more the kind of that sound, but also the bluegrass.
Yep. Coming out of of course, Leadbelly's story, coming out of Angola State Prison, knew all the old...
Flat and Scruggs?
Yeah.
Is that who I'm thinking of? Foggy Mountain and Foggy Mountain Boys? Flat and Scruggs?
Flat and Scruggs.
That's who I'm thinking of. Right. Flat and Scruggs. These are like the original guys. I don't know if I dare I give you a little
Flat and Scruggs. There she is. Yeehaw! Yeah. But listen to the talent of that. I mean, they're just getting down, man. And
they were kind of like the country version of like bebop,
right?
like you take in a whole different other universe. You got Dizzy Gillespie and Charlie Parker doing doing sax and trumpet and doing a whole different thing in music.
Right.
So you have like Mozart or whatever doing the harpsichord, credenzas, and then you got Flat and Scruggs doing the bluegrass, the heavy bluegrass thing, right? It's all kind of, in a way, kind of a virtuosic.
Yeah.
Kind of a music.
Yeah.
Before I forget, the last Mars thing, back to Life on Mars.
Mm-hmm.
Flat and Scruggs, Life on Mars. Could you imagine a banjo? Like Here Comes Curiosity, all of a sudden, there it is. There's like Marvin the Martian. Straight out of Deliverance, right?
Right, they're sitting on some deserted planet with the in their rocking chairs and the jugs with the X's on them, and they're
Wouldn't that be awesome? Like it would be like, now we know where life did come from. It's like
David Lynch could pull that off.
Oh yeah, totally.
He could pull that off.
Totally.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't.
Snows on Mars. That's what I say after we got on the tangent. That was the other big news about. You're talking about boron and stuff. The other headline that came out just like a few weeks ago was that they actually have the snowing on Mars, like snowflaking. So that's awesome. Pretty. I mean, yeah. Well, they didn't know for sure, but it's like
that's what it looks like.
Where there's water, where it's snowing, where there's boron.
You
could have banjos.
It could.
And jugs with X's. And
oh, that could be great.
Oh,
We're talking alien hee-haw.
I know, right?
That could be fantastic.
I could.
Wait a minute.
I could jam.
Wait a minute. That reminds me that there is a musical instrument in here.
Let's see.
Here we go.
Yeah!
That's
I'm
right.
ready.
Musical yeehaw.
I'm ready.
Do some finger tapping.
I don't know anything.
Oh, that sounds familiar. That sounds really familiar.
I don't really play this.
Yeah.
This is my show and tell.
That's awesome.
I got this at the garage.
So, Doc, let's do a little background. What is that you're holding?
This is an Ovation.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Shellback.
There's actually a hidden little serial number in the thing.
Gotcha.
And I went online, and there's a whole list of serial numbers for these guys.
Mm-hmm.
And 1974, Ovation. It's a little beat up. Someone smashed
That's all right. It's got some roadwear on it.
Someone smashed the top here, and so it was glued back together. Maybe not so well, but I mean it's gonna hold up.
Yeah.
So garage sale, but yeah, it's classic. It actually sounds very good. This is an Ovation. They started making these in the '60s.
Yeah.
This is a fiberglass back.
Yeah.
And then the rest is guitar. And Glenn Campbell made this famous.
Yeah.
Hart, all the great musicians when they play acoustic guitars, starting back in the 70s and through the 80s, they'd pick up an Ovation because the reason is the design of this makes the thing really loud and proud.
Right.
The acoustics are actually very good because, and if you think about it, I was like, oh, that's not really a guitar. It's not the boxy black thing. But think about like a violin or a cello or whatever. They're curved, aren't they?
Yep.
In the back. They're curved. Yeah. And the classic guitar is not. So I don't know, the people at Ovation, American made. Here, you.
Yeah. Oh.
I ain't playing it because I can't really play the guitar.
You're right.
You know what I do? You know what I do?
Yeah.
I look. Ooh, there's the Batman.
Hold on here. Yeah. I gotta adjust.
Look, I got a pink. Do you play it?
Very, very crappy.
Probably better than me. I was gonna learn a few chords.
No, not as good.
So here's what happens.
Yeah.
I write music and stuff.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I'll pick up. It's like, oh, I need a guitar part. So what I'll do is I mainly play the drums.
Yeah.
I can play the keyboards.
Master percussionist.
And then and then I can play a bass. I can play a bass. Okay. But anyway, what I'll do is like that one song, that rock and roll song. It's like, well, I've got some guitar ideas in my head, so I'll pick up the guitar, dial in the sound I want, and then teach myself the part I want to play for the song.
Right.
So that's how it goes. So I know it's horrible. We are gonna get a musical guest on the show, dude.
We got it.
Yeah, this is not gonna work.
No, I know. That's right. But
it sounds great though. It does sound great. You play like a chord. Well, that's not so great.
That's not so great.
Yeah. But I mean, it does sound. They sound real good.
I tell you what. Sometime I'll bring in the bass.
Well, see, that's. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just. Yes, I can't.
We'll do our own version of Foggy Mountain Breakdown.
I was just doing stupid stuff like.
Right.
Deep in the woods where Jason is good.
Ooh.
And straight out of the southeast Portland. Okay. All right, that was stupid.
Hey.
Anyway.
Musical interlude.
Yes.
Why not?
We'll work something up. This is why I record.
Right.
I mean, yeah, I played, this is like, hey, let's go get the band together.
Let's get the band back together,
I'll play a little drums or whatever. Or
sure.
Maybe I could pick up the bass a little bit for you, or little keyboards, whatever. That's fine. But I mean, when it comes to actually putting together the music and playing guitars and things like that, that's why I have the recording studio stuff, because I can hit the button,
right,
play it exactly the way I want to play it.
Right.
And then if I screw it up, I can do it again and again and again until I get it right.
Exactly.
So, and again, I'll come up with a part, maybe on the keyboard or whatever. It's like, I have something in my head and the guitar, and I will just pick it up and figure it out.
Yeah. I never write down anything. It's usually, and
well, I do write down stuff too. I generally
I should, but I don't.
I mean, I actually was doing that because it was like, okay, what is this? I'm playing this keyboard part, which I know what all the music is, and I'll write it out, and then I'll be like, okay, now what? Let me go find the notes on the bass here, or the guitar. I don't know. I'm going to learn a little more on the guitar. I mean, I'm not going to play leads or anything or whatever, but a few I don't know. It works for me.
I'm so rudimentary now. I mean, the fingers just can't.
It's the worst.
Can't do. That's why I went to bass, because I just can't.
Well, and for me, bass is all right.
Dude, they're like sausage fingers. I can't.
Yeah, I know. But for me, bass is cool because I'm the drummer. So it's like pretty much my number one bass,
It's the rhythm section.
Is like, I'm going to be real tight,
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool if you can play the drums and bass and lay down a rhythm track in studio, where it's like, boy, the bass and drums are pretty on top of each other. It's like, same guy. he knows what he's playing on the drums, so he knows what he's playing on the bass, right? It's like, dude. Yeah,
I've been messing around the last couple weeks. I pulled out one of my little amplifiers is a Line 6 Spider, and it's got a bunch of these onboard little. It's a mini effects pedal built into the thing, right? Mm-hmm. And so what I've been doing is, since I've gotten rid of the guitars, all I have is the bass now. But one of the features on it, bless their heart, they put it on there, was a octave pitch equalizer. In other words, when you do the root chord, it'll actually produce a sound that's exactly one octave higher and the same. So you get the bass sound, you kind of get this quasi distortion of the regular guitar. And so I've been messing around with that. And it's kind of fun to. I totally understand now why guys turn into real huge, real audiophiles, right?
Yeah.
Because it's funny. It's not funny, haha, but it's funny and fun manipulating the different textures of sound and stuff. And just, I don't know. It's weird.
That's what I like to do. Like I did. I don't know. I did this one. Right, and I textured a few guitars, and I had this old 80s Ibanez Japanese electric, which I got for free. I don't go out and buy expensive. It's like, oh, here's a garage. Here's how much? Well, it's all beat up. Okay, it's still an Ovation. It still looks good.
Still looks good. Still sounds good.
There was not. Yeah. I mean, I actually traded it for some stuff that I was selling too. I was like. Is that an Ovation?
Yeah, I'll take that.
It'll still sound good. The Ibanez, a guy gave it to me.
Yeah.
For storing his guitars in my house. He's like, oh, here, you like that? I don't want. I got my other one. He was a guitar player. I was like, sure, free. As Tom says, free is a very good price. Yeah. But I'll do some textured things, which reminds me we got one more thing to do here. But I'll do I don't know if this is.
Ooh.
See, and that's a guitar with a tremolo, and actually, I don't know if you can hear it, but that's my fretless bass, which is the one I prefer to play.
Good Lord.
So anyway, that's kind of what I do in the studio.
Yeah.
Anyway. And I kind of have some weird hollow. Anyway, that's a song I'm working on finishing up.
That
the music is done.
My gosh,
But that's kind of that's the extent of my guitar playing is kind of textures and stuff. It's I kind of want this.
It's that vibe right there. It's got a whiter shade of pale vibe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when I hit that,
I never thought about that. But yeah, I guess
skip the light fandango.
Kind of the little guitar lead in there with the open-ish guitar.
A little Moody Bluesish too.
Yeah. Actually, and the ending is too. The ending does kind of have a Moody Blues. It does. It kind of has that.
Yeah.
I gotta finish it. The vocals are waiting to get done, and then it's done. The song's pretty much done. It's
lyrics written yet?
Pretty much, yeah. I'd say about 80-90%.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, there's another thing. You want to talk about guitar playing? Let's talk about lyric writing.
Oh, that's my favorite part.
Yeah, not me.
Yeah.
I mean, I know. It's like anything. I know good lyrics when I see them, and I like them. Mm-hmm. But it's come out to those in your side of the head. I'm the producer kind of guy. I'm the guy. I'm really a producer kind of a guy. I mean, I can play these instruments and things, and I can put together things. But I'm like the producer. Let's piece this all together and make a song, And then it's like, it's like, oh, are you a poet? Jim Morrison, come here. Sing something on this. You know what you're doing with your poetry.
Right.
That sort of thing.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I mean, you can't be everything. Yeah, I guess you can, but I am just out of a necessity.
Channel your inner Dylan.
Yeah. And we heard right before we did the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll play it at the end. Because what we're doing is we're pulling out, and we're still trying to figure out this thing with your song. I still don't. We won't talk about that now.
Yeah.
But anyway, we've been pulling out old tunes, and I played one in the preview. One of my first pop songs.
Yeah.
That I wrote, kind of pop rock songs. One of the early ones.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell. Sometimes they're probably. I'd say it was probably my first one as a solo artist, like as opposed to a collaborator.
Yeah.
Like, because when I was in school, when I was a kid in school, I ended up with a friend of mine was a guitar player. We would collaborate, and there I was more a lyricist, and he was like writing the songs on his guitar.
Yeah.
And then we'd piece the rest of it together, and then after that, I kind of started doing my own material.
Yeah.
I don't know, right?
Yeah.
So I keep digging stuff out.
There you go. Out of the vaults.
Yeah, yes. we played a song called. You're gonna love this.
Mm-hmm.
We could journey higher.
Wicked journey higher.
You and I.
We can journey. We can journey.
We can journey higher. The lyrics are really something else.
Excellent.
Yeah, it was. And
do you have anything we can sample here? Because now I'm intrigued.
Well, we were playing it earlier.
Yeah.
I have one more thing that we have to do before we go, because I promised on the Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah, we were listening to it earlier. I mean, I remember you were like, "Ooh, here, we'll get your reaction here." Yeah. So this is I can't remember. So that was before that. So I want to say 1980, 81, 80, no, 82. 82, probably. Wow. I think it might have been 82.
Okay.
Summer of 82. Now, I probably wrote this song in 81-ish or whatever. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is back in the day. Here's the thing about today. Kids write a song. Mm-hmm. You've got your computers, your internet. You can song. Professionally produced. Not in my day.
Yeah.
It was like you'd have a cassette deck and crappy mics, and we would go scour the garage sales and stuff for tape decks and equipment so we could record our crappy little songs in high school and make them try to sound halfway decent. Right. Especially with drums and bass and stuff. Nowadays, you don't have...
It was all analog, man.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about that nowadays. Yeah. You're lucky. It's great, You got all this stuff. I mean, MIDI keyboards didn't exist. None of that stuff existed, like, beforehand. Yeah. And so, writing songs on a computer didn't exist, So, yeah. So probably 81 or so. So if you got a setup, like you set up your space, right?
Mm-hmm.
And with recording gear like basses and drums and microphones, you would do that. Mm-hmm. And let's record some of the songs we have that we wrote back here and try to make them sound sort of okay.
Sure.
And they, varying degrees, they were on sets. But yeah. So, there was this one,
This is great.
Yeah, it's a little...
See?
I didn't clean it up.
Should I stay or should I go?
Yeah. Well, it was the 80s, man.
Oh, cowbell!
Oh, yes.
I didn't notice that the first time around.
And, of course, the recording.
Cruising down the sunny... Oh, there's Hollywood and Vine right there. Yeah.
I don't think I did anything with this, like if I could remaster it or something. Anyway, I know.
I love it, man. This is like a YNT vibe,
I'm singing harmonies on this.
Kind of I hear some Greg Kinn in this too a little
Yeah,
bit.
probably Greg Kinn for sure. Actually, I think he was really big at the time. So, anyway, we can journey higher. Okay. Enough of that.
Taking a trip down Amnesia
Well,
Lane?
I put that. And I'm trying to. I don't have all the time in the world here, but I'm trying to actually take those. It would be nice to take those tapes and clean them up a little bit, you know. But that's like a fully written song. I even copywrote that. So now I've just violated my own copyright for that song officially. Like I have you'd send it away to the government, and then they send you a piece of paper back that.
Saying, hey, that's yours.
It was important back then, not so much now. But it was and it was obviously I was not playing the guitar on that, and I was not singing the lead vocal on that either, which at that time was probably better. But I was singing the harmony.
Right, background, you know.
Wine, women, and song. The life and times of Doc Normal.
Hey, there's your memoir right there.
Pretty much.
I like it.
Oh, what's life all about, right? I mean, it's about
living and loving.
Living, loving. She's such. What's it, Led Zeppelin?
Ooh.
I never mind.
Good times, bad times.
Oh no, living, loving.
Boom,
Okay.
boom, boom, boom.
We have a quiz, and I'm going to see here. Look, now we're over. We've wasted all this time, valuable time. If you have anything left to say, final thoughts,
I'm good.
Jason, do you need? No, I sent out a quiz.
Yeah.
I teased a quiz, and I should check on the Facebook to see if there's anything going on with that. Probably not. I don't see it. Okay. So, Jason.
Yes.
Quiz time.
Okay.
And I'm going to give this to you right now.
Rapid fire.
Yeah. Here it is. Here's NuzBox's quiz. Let me try to bring this up here.
Okay.
It's a good one.
Oh, I gotta get my thinking cap on. I'm tired.
I'll try to put it up here.
Okay.
So today's quiz, I put a quiz. Here it goes.
Okay.
We need the music. Dun, 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 dun. Right, something.
Right.
Some of the Jeopardy. Are you ready? I should put it on
I'll
you.
try.
Ready? Okay. 1861 to 1862. 1993 to 1994. 2001 to 2004. 2017 to current time 2017. The question once again is, and folks, if you're out there, message us. We'll see if anyone gets this online.
Okay.
The quiz is 1861 to 1862, 1993 to 1994, 2001 to 2004, and 2017 and beyond.
I'm drawing a blank.
I know
of course,
you are.
1861, that's Civil War.
All of these dates have one thing in common, one significant historical facet. And I can bring in, it is a United States of America specific question.
Okay, let's get the wheels going.
Yeah, keep your eyes closed. No looking at the monitor because I'll bring it up.
Okay.
It just struck me because I saw a photo. Very unique period in time. I'm
drawing a blank. I'm drawing a blank. Of course, then again, I've only had two hours of sleep. So
yes, so you lose. Okay. The answer is, Jason, name the times of the most living presidents of the United States. So, in other words, when did we have the most living presidents of the United States?
Okay.
2017 is your key.
Yeah.
Is your key. Because...
Oh, was this drawn out of the Harvey commercial
they
did?
Yes, exactly. I saw the Harvey thing on Twitter, and then I went, now, aren't we in a time in history where we have the most living presidents?
39, 41,
I've got it right
42.
here for you. So working backwards, and the number, what is the number? What is the number?
What do you mean?
What is that number of the most living presidents?
Oh, boy. Let's see.
Come on, you can do it. You can do it.
There's Carter. First
Counting on the fingers.
Yeah,
Yes.
Carter, first Bush, Clinton, second Bush, Obama. So, 5?
Well, and then you would include
Trump, but
the
he's
sitting president as well.
But he's active right
But you
now.
do, right. But you
5
include the
former
living
presidents.
president, including the current president.
Yeah.
So the number is 6.
Yeah.
At no time in history have we had more than 6 living presidents in time. Now, I was curious because I was like, but we're in that time period where we have the most living presidents, right? And I looked it up, and sure enough, we do. But we've never gone more than 6, and I didn't realize it went way back as 1861.
Yeah, Buchanan.
Yes.
Who was the one before him?
If you actually can go up to Wikipedia, and they've got a nice chart. It was the 1861 to March 4th, 1861 to January 18th, 1862, and it was on the inauguration of Abraham Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
It was 8, 10, 13, 14, 15, and 16.
Wow.
For 320 days, and of course ended on the assassination.
Yeah.
So yeah, Buchanan is in there. They don't give you the list of folks. You have to go look up all those presidents.
Polk? James Polk?
I think so. Yes, I think Polk is in there. So I did not realize that during Lincoln's time that we had 6 living presidents who had been president.
Yeah.
And then were alive. So that was back to Lincoln, 1861, 1862.
Yeah.
Then it after that, then it ramps
93,
up to
94, right?
Right. And
that's got to be what Nixon, Ford.
Yep.
Carter.
That was on the first inauguration of Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
Was when we
Reagan
had
was
6...
gone by then, I believe. I think he passed away from. He was still alive, huh?
Nope, he's part of it. 1 year and 92 days that lasted. That was 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, and 42. So that would have been Nixon.
Yeah.
That would have been Ford.
Nixon, Ford, Carter, Reagan,
Bush,
and Clinton.
Yeah. That's 6.
Yeah.
And that ended on the death of Richard Nixon.
There you go.
In 94.
Nixon passed away before Reagan?
Yes, in 94. 1994.
Okay.
Actually, it was April 22nd, 1994, that Richard Nixon passed away.
Tricky dick.
So that was 6. And then not long after, 2001 through 2004, we had, again, 3 years and 137 days. 3 years. We had 6 living presidents, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, and 43. And that ended on the death of Ronald Reagan.
Right.
Remember, Reagan died June 5th,
That's
2004.
right. He was just out of public light because of the
That's
Alzheimer's.
right. You think of Reagan actually passing away sooner in the 90s, but he had the Alzheimer's, and he just was not seen publicly. But it was not that. I remember the funeral.
Yeah.
Like, it seemed like it was, like, rather recent. But that was, yes, the...
Okay.
And that was the first inauguration of George W. Bush. So if you remember, that was during the W. Bush...
Yeah.
Kind of post 9/11 era. And then remember, a few years after 9/11, they did I remember the funeral.
Yeah.
Live on television, Nancy Reagan and W. Bush and all of them all there out in, was it Santa Barbara or wherever it was out there in it was in California.
Yeah, I think you may be right.
It was California. I remember it vividly. I remember that funeral.
I'm all Nixoned up now, so San Clemente.
Yeah, Hillary Clinton was there. I remember. Yeah. I remember she was there. Everyone.
Bill
was there too.
I read a book not too long ago, and did you know that in 1843, I want to say 43 or 46, I can't remember, but a very young Abraham Lincoln, when he did his very first stint in the House of Representatives, he came in and literally, who did he see? John Quincy Adams. Mm-hmm. Quincy Adams is like the McCain of today. He was, 80, 81 years old?
Yes, he was.
And I always thought, oh my God, I mean, here's the guy that's the son of one of the founding...
What year was this?
1840...
Oh, okay.
That's got to be about... I want to say 1843, but that may be a little early. But yeah, he, of course, semi-famously, John Quincy... when he had his fatal stroke, is right there on the floor of the House of Representatives.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And so Lincoln witnessed that. He was there for that. Now, it always wondered me, because we talk about past presidents and stuff like that. I mean, what a huge gap. Here's a guy that goes on to become president, through the Civil War. And here's John Quincy Adams, literally the kid of founding father John Adams. And John Quincy, of course, was the president too. And after that, he... one of the few ex-presidents that went back into government and was in the House of Representatives. But it's very interesting.
So after Reagan died, we went down to 5 living presidents.
Yeah.
And then we dipped down to 4 living presidents. Gerald Ford died a couple years later in 2006. And we were down to 4. Mm-hmm. And then on the first inauguration of Barack Obama, we had 5. And then, of course, we had 6, which is Trump. And we have both Bushes, as you said, both Bushes. Mm-hmm. Carter, he's very old, but he was looking really
90
good.
90 now, and he looks good.
He looked good in the photos.
Yeah.
Well, if you're out there building those Habitat for Humanity houses with a hammer in your hand, it's keeping you active.
Young,
yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Clinton and Obama.
Right.
And they did the hurricane thing. Here's something interesting, Jason.
Mm-hmm.
What we did is occasionally in history we drop down to 1 living president. Of course, the first time would have been 1789 to 1797.
When old George went.
George Washington. But as recently as 1973 and 1974, 1 living president.
After Johnson died.
Gerald Ford. That doesn't make any sense.
73. Well, no, 74.
Death of Lyndon B. Johnson, inauguration of... Oh, right. And so that would have been Nixon.
Yeah.
That was in 37. That was Nixon. And then that ended with the inauguration of Gerald Ford after Watergate.
Yeah.
Because Truman had died... Johnson died in 73, so that's when. So we had I remember this too briefly. We had Eisenhower died in 69, and they had a big one for Eisenhower.
Yeah.
And Nixon was in office, and they had a big because he's General Eisenhower, President Eisenhower. Yeah. They I'm sure you could find it on YouTube. They had like the big procession with the casket with the horse drawn,
the case on,
all through Washington D.C. I mean, it was color guards and stuff. I think with just the fact that he was not only president but General Eisenhower. So that was 69, and that was a live televised event. Mm-hmm. And then I didn't realize this. Truman died in 72.
Yeah, he lived
longer than Eisenhower.
Lived a ripe old age.
Yeah, and then Johnson died in 73, and I remember that. It seemed like presidents. Everyone was dying.
Yeah,
a lot of people in my family were dying too. It was a weird period.
Yeah.
Why are you so weird? Death. And so Johnson died not long after he kind of ended his presidency and wouldn't run again.
Lyndon Baines.
Yeah, and then after that, Nixon became president, and he was the only living president.
Yeah.
So that's in recent times.
Yeah.
So we'll see how. Actually, there is a photograph right here. As a matter of fact, I didn't realize of the current. Oh no, this is no. They're all here. The gang's all here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you would again add Trump as sitting president right now, which would make it 6.
Right.
So, and I don't. When was this taken? It doesn't say. I don't have the metadata there. I think that was taken a few years ago.
Right.
Maybe inauguration, because H. Bush, I know, is in a wheelchair.
Yes.
And he was looking as good, but Carter, is in the 90s and
Carter's looking good, man.
fine. That's okay. Like I said, hammer in your hand, building those habitats for humanity, building those things for the folks who need houses.
Yeah.
That's all right. I always like Carter about that. That's always, I don't know.
Yeah, one of those guys who got maligned as president.
Yeah.
But went on to be very successful.
Yeah.
I mean, he has turned into quite the altruistic statesman. You know?
Literally, the Habitat for Humanity stuff. Like, literally, like, pictures of him actually out there building the houses.
Yep. Yeah.
You know, you got to admire that. That's kind of the way it goes. Well, I don't know. Don't know if there's anything else breaking. I think everyone's just bracing for that next storm, and hopefully...
Yeah, if there's a news dump, it'll be around... about an hour from now.
I don't have any resignation Karnak news this week. I think there's enough going on. It's weird because it was the short holiday week, and I think everyone's recovering from it. Although we were here on Monday,
we were.
So
while other people slept,
yes,
we were on the job. Not only that, we were on the job with a guest.
Yeah.
So I mean, we did a yeoman's job.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I'm going to say let's, brace yourselves, I guess. Just be safe out there.
That's right.
Right? You know, and we'll be back on Monday. It sounds like we might have a guest.
Yep, Ed DeVito.
And
he'll be calling in 9:30.
Just take care. No more Aura things. I'm going to put the highlight out there of the Aura. That was just great. She was just great.
It was fascinating.
Yeah. So... stay safe, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a big Ducks game this weekend?
Big, huge Duck games.
Okay, well.
Tomorrow, Oregon takes on Nebraska.
Oh,
and
who's going to win that one?
Subplot, that's a you pick 'em. Subplot of that game is, of course, the coach of Nebraska is the old Oregon State coach, Mike Riley. So Riley comes back, and we get to see how successful Willie Taggart's new staff and team is going to do. They look pretty sharp against Southern Utah, but then again, it was Southern Utah.
This is a big game. That's
big
tomorrow?
Game. Big game tomorrow, yep.
All right.
You got it. Folks, South Florida, stay safe, folks. Come back to us on Monday, and we will give you chuckles in time of calamity.
We will. And thanks. Huge thanks have been going out to all those firefighters.
Yeah.
I saw a picture, Oregon had a picture of a gal, 18 years old.
Yeah.
Resting on the top of a truck. She was out there fighting the fires and stuff. Thank you all.
That gives me
folks.
hope.
It's a dangerous business, and I'm just... Sounds like everyone's safe and still fighting those fires. That's a really important thing, is even if you're out there fighting the fires, that they stay safe and everyone comes back safe and in one piece, and praise those folks. And a lot of them are young people who are doing that, and I have the greatest admiration for them. So stay safe, everyone. Have a good weekend.
I'm going to make myself a cup of Good Morning America. Y'all want some? It's the best damn coffee you're going to get anywhere, buddy.